Welcome to Valparaiso University, everybody, and to some basketball, actually. It's nice to be here inside the Arc with Brian Jennings. I'm Sam Michael. And, Brian, it's been a crazy year of hoping for basketball and then getting some and other times not. But tonight we get some basketball. It's two region teams. It's the Regions Division I team versus the Regions Division II team here tonight with PNW and Valparaiso.
Yeah, this is a great matchup for both clubs. You know, with Purdue Northwest becoming a member of the NCAA level at the Division II level to be exact, this has become a recruiting battle, so to speak, between Valparaiso and Purdue Northwest. You know, now the two schools will be going after the same kids. So obviously a big ball game for both schools. You know, this counts as a true game for Valparaiso, who comes in at 2-4, while on the other side of the coin, Purdue Northwest comes in at 0-2. And you know, don't let anybody kid you. There's bragging rights on the line for this ball game, and it should be a good matchup.
Yeah, one guy to watch out. I'm sure there's injuries early in this season on both sides with limited practice, but I know PNW missing Jordan Doss. He's one of their main guards from last year, a senior transferring over in his second year, and Valparaiso will have some issues, I'm sure, throughout this season as well, with guys trying to be staying out of the protocol with coronavirus and all the stuff going with that. But Doss, hopefully, I know I was talking to Boomer Roberts this week, and he's hoping to have Jordan Doss back by their official starts, which will be January 8th of next year. But he's a guy who could spread the floor and shoot it. And looking at a couple of things, you mentioned Connor Barrett, who can really do that for Valpo. But overall, they've struggled to shoot it this year at 28%. And with the Pride missing one of their better three-point shooters as well, that could be something to watch here tonight. In a game like this, when you have sort of a mismatch where it's D1 versus D2, right? Let's be honest. The only thing that can really get you back and keep you even if you're PNW is if you shoot it really well, all of a sudden things start to even out.
Well, there's no question about it. You know, I think you're going to see some zone on both sides here this afternoon. I would look for PNW to play zone against Valparaiso. So a guy like Connor Barrett or even a guy like Jacob Osnasovic, the other big 6'8" freshman for Valpo, going to be able to get some looks at the three-point shot here this afternoon. But for Purdue Northwest, you're going to have to rely on your outside game. The inside presence, yeah, you've got some size in Jairus Friels at 6'6", the senior forward out of Evansville. You've got Vincent Miskevich, 6'7", and a sophomore forward out of South Elgin. So there is some size, but, you know, it's not the same kind of size, you might say, that you see in the Missouri Valley if you're for Valparaiso. So the perimeter game going to be of critical importance for Purdue Northwest.
Yeah, those guys that you just mentioned, Miskevich, one of them. Friels was the guy who was here last year, like Doss, transferred in as a junior, having 2 years now eligibility, and this is his second and hopefully a successful year after going 10-18 last year. Jairus really turned it on late in the year and is a preseason All-GLIAC member this year and hoping to really prove why he is against some good competition tonight. He's done so far in their two matchups against Bowling Green and also Ohio. He's averaged 16 points per game, leading the Pride so far. Miskevich right behind him at 13. And I watched a large portion of that game against Bowling Green that you mentioned as well, and he was really impressive, Miskevich, and as Boomer said, not quite as good against Ohio, but he's a freshman, a sophomore, a guy who played at Incarnate Word and now transfers in, but a freshman, so to speak, here at PNW. And he'll be a guy to watch for Pride fans who haven't seen a lot of Vincent Miskevich yet in those first two games. He's a guy who's a D1 talent, like we're talking, who can really stand out for PNW, especially in GLIAC play.
Well, as you mentioned, he had 20 and 10 versus Bowling Green. That's a great, matchup right there for him, and he come out and put 20 on the board against the MAC school. And, as you mentioned, a guy who transferred from Incarnate Ward, who, by the way, is coached by Carson Cunningham, the former Andrean standout, went on to play at Purdue. So, he has that Division I bloodline, so to speak, coming into this game today. And I would look for him to have that chip on his shoulder to prove that, he can play at that level, even though he's at the D2 level now.
Boomer not starting any of his freshmen. As we mentioned, Miskevich is a sophomore. But those freshmen we'll talk a lot about. Jacob Stone, a redshirt, but Phillips and Zerlini, the two guys he was really excited, both getting from the West Coast, that Arizona area where Boomer Roberts came from originally out in California as well. And we'll talk more about them. But on the opposite side, Matt Loddick is starting a couple of young guys. Barrett, who we mentioned, is a freshman. Cricky and Clay are sophomores, and a couple other guys will watch out Edwards and Fricky in there as well, who are both really young. So young guys on both sides could make it interesting.
Yeah, this freshman class for Valpo, very good class. Very high on this class is Matt Loddick and his staff. You know, Connor Barrett, the 6'6 freshman out of Chicago, a big-time shooter, had a nice afternoon against Purdue in the losing cause, hit multiple threes in the second half. We mentioned Jacob Osnasovic, another one, the 6'8 freshman out of Sheboygan, averaging 8 points a game, had 4 threes in the final 12 minutes versus Purdue. He can really cause matchup problems for many different teams.
Step aside real quick and come back with the tip.
Hello again, everybody. This is Matt Maloney of the Matt Maloney Real Estate Group, powered by Keller Williams of Northwest Indiana. The region is a beautiful place to live, and I've soared to new heights to market your listing to the best and widest possible audience. Call me today at 219-301-0477 or visit mattmaloneyrealtor.com and let's get started. It's not baloney. I'm Matt Maloney.
Bricklayers and Allied Crafts Workers Local 4, Indiana, Kentucky, has been building careers and communities here in Indiana and throughout the state of Kentucky for more than 125 years. Whether it's installing block, brick, stone, ceramic tile, terrazzo, and refractories, or restoring the buildings we built 50 or 100 years ago, BAC Local 4 and our signatory contractor partners are the best hands in the business. For more information, contact our local chapter office in Maryville at 219-769-3655. Or visit us at baclocal4.org. St. Nicholas Byzantine Catholic Church in Munster is proud to celebrate Divine Liturgy on WJOB. Join us every Sunday on WJOBnetwork.com, as well as AM 1230 and 104.7 FM at 8:30 a.m. We return to in-person church with only an 8:30 liturgy. Liturgy will continue to be broadcasted as well for those who are sick or do not yet wish to return. Be safe and see you in church. Back here at Valparaiso University with Brian Jennings, I'm Sam Michael, getting set for the tip between these two teams. The Pride and Valparaiso playing in this exhibition, at least for P&W, but I was trying to keep everything straight. Valparaiso will count this towards their season record. They're 2-4 coming into today. The Pride have officially not played any games according to their official season statistics as far as win-loss. They are 0-2 in these exhibitions against Bowling Green in Ohio, as we mentioned, but looking for some official games to start hopefully soon. They were hoping for one on Saturday, and if you have not found out yet, I don't know how much has been released, but I was told it's okay to say once the game starts that they were supposed to play Grand Valley on Saturday. That will not happen. Hopefully, maybe something before that January 8th date, but as of now, that is the plan. Here's the starters for PNW. It's the usual starters that you will probably see a lot. You'll recognize most of these names, but two new guys in there, and starting with the lead guard, that's Mikkel Cooper. He's a junior, a transfer. He's played in one game and started that game and scored 9 points against Ohio. Greg Boyle, in a junior season for Boomer Roberts, has played now all three this year, counting in that at PNW, averaging 6.5 points per game in the two games he's played and started. Anthony Barnard is the junior forward, only playing in one game so far. Not his best performance, only 2 points. He's a guy that Boomer and his staff will rely on a lot this year, the talented junior. Jairus Friels is the go-to guy in the post, number 32, the senior, 16 points per game. He will have to score a lot inside for PNW to be competitive in this game. And Vince Miscavige, the transfer, D1 transfer from Incarnate Word, a sophomore, and he has scored 13 points per game so far. And he's a 6'6", lanky guy for Boomer Roberts. For Valparaiso, on the opposite side of that, their starters, Daniel Sacchi, really talented. We'll talk a lot about him, how quick and fast he is. And Boomer said it on Monday during our show that he is a one-man kind of transition game. He can take it and score it himself. He doesn't need numbers a lot of times to do that. Donovan Clay has been the leading scorer for this team so far, averaging 11 points per game in their 6 games he's played in and started. Aaron Gordon, the long time, seems like he's been around the game forever. And now he finds his way to Valparaiso this year and as a redshirt senior. And he's averaging almost 6 points per game for Coach Matt Loddick. Ben Cricky, the sophomore, and Connor Barrett, the freshman, rounded out. Those are two guys to look for to score. And you mentioned as well, Brian, Connor Barrett, he is an elite shooter from downtown. He's a guy PNW will have to find when he's behind the arc.
Yeah, that's one of the keys here this afternoon. They're going to have to be able to find Barrett on the wing. You know, his ability to light up the three-point line could be a problem here for Purdue Northwest. Really, also for Purdue Northwest, it's going to come down to another thing. Defensively, you're going to have to handle the pressure, or I should say the quickness of Valparaiso. Different level of quickness, I think, than what they have seen thus far. Probably one of the quicker teams they've seen of the 3 games they've played. But nevertheless, for Purdue Northwest, it's going to come down to a couple of things, like we said. Handle the perimeter game of Valpo, be able to defend the three, and at the same time, handle the pressure. And in the offensive end, you want to try to avoid live ball turnovers and let Sackey and company get into the open floor.
Matt Loddick, already in year number 8, 73-60. Luke Gore, Rob Halloway, Matt Bowen, his assistants. And you think about the Drew name a lot in this program, but Matt Loddick taking over since Coach Drew left. And it's hard to believe he is in year number 8. Time flies so quickly. Boomer Roberts already in his 3rd season. That's hard to believe as well. 17-39 in his 2 years so far. Nick Reynolds, Steve Seward, his 2 new assistant coaches, trying to build the program here in Hammond, Indiana, and make PNW a Division II, I don't know if powerhouse is the right word, but definitely a threat to compete at that level. And that's what Boomer Roberts and his team are hoping for. The pride in their all-black uniforms. Valparaiso in their home whites here on their home floor, where they are 2-0 this year. Both of their wins have come in this building. Miscavige wins the tip into the hands of Jairus Friels, and now handled by Cooper. Boomer Roberts really likes Mikkel Cooper. He's a guy who is so fast. We talk about Sackey, but that is Cooper as well. So is this guy Boyle on the dribble. The step back, long 2 for Greg Boyle. Straight away, and he rattles it down. That's a good sign for PNW if Greg Boyle is hitting shots from deep.
Yeah, your start is crucial here this afternoon for PNW. Boyle with the step back 17-footer puts 2 on the board early on in this one for PNW.
Right side here in the corner is Gordon. This will be a matchup to watch in the post. It's Clay on the baseline. Jump shot over Jairus Friels, and he knocks it down.
You know, he's the kind of kid, and I'll use the name Scottie Pippen. Reminds me of a Scottie Pippen type player way back when. I guess I'm dating myself. But nevertheless, a guy that can play at both ends of the floor. 6'7", lanky, good defender who can shoot it.
Jairus Friels outside. That's not a spot where he will handle it a lot. Cooper gets into the lane, leaves it for Friels. Friels absorbs the contact, missed the layup left side, and it's rebounded by Donovan Clay. Clay starts the outlet and leaves it here on the runner down the left side, and it's Sackey, that great speed, and you can tell, Coach, as well, that he's added some of that strength to his game since the last time I've seen him.
Yeah, Bobby Brooks, the longtime strength coach here at Valpo, had that kid in the offseason in the weight room and really put a lot of weight on him. But as you said, you saw his quickness to the basket. Nobody stopped the basketball for PNW off the wing, and he was able to get the hoop.
Miscavige went all the way through the lane and took that extra step and called for the travel, and it's a turnover on PNW. You can see a lot here from Miscavige, the length that he provides, but he's got a little bit of that old school game as well, so watch out for him being patient. Outside, they'll try the 3. That's the shooter we talked about, Barrett. He misses it right in front of the PNW bench, and the Pride have the rebound. It's Mikkel Cooper trying to get going. Left-handed shooter, pulls up from the free throw line, extended, missed the jump shot. And Donovan Clay has another rebound for Valpo.
Ball possession going to be crucial here tonight for PNW. You've got to get yourself good looks. Shot that ball with about 23 seconds left on the shot clock. A quick trigger jumper right there, and it came up short.
About 2 minutes in here. Valparaiso leading 4-2. Clay running, kicks it out. Extra pass on top for Gordon. Fires a 3. Missed it right side. And it's rebounded by Anthony Barnard. Barnard, a guy who plays forward but can handle the ball as well. Has played some guard in his life. Plays that 3-4 flex spot for Boomer Roberts. Boyle right side on the right wing in front of the Valparaiso bench. Bounces it down. Post extended baseline for Friels. Double team comes. Extra pass from Cooper to Barnard was taken away. Another turnover for PNW. It's Sackey in the open floor. Sackey spinning on Cooper. Draws the foul. Forced it up. Shot no good. He will shoot 2.
You know, Purdue Northwest did thus far 2 turnovers in the first 4 possessions of this one here this afternoon. Sackey took advantage of it right there. Went hard to the bucket, drew the contact, and he'll head to the stripe to shoot 2.
That's the first foul on Mikkel Cooper. And a couple of shots here for Sackey. So far, 7 of 8 on this young season from the free throw stripe. Something he's also worked on as he becomes an upperclassman, but he misses the front end of his 2 shots here.
Banged up a year ago with an ankle injury that really was critical to the woes, you might say, for Valpo in the mid-stretch of the season. You know, in the Missouri Valley, one of the most physical conferences at the mid-major level, you've got to have a guy like him who can handle the basketball and take the contact in the conference.
Able to rattle home the second and a 5-2 advantage for the Crusaders here at home. 17:30 and ticking in this first half of play. Pride and Valparaiso in this one. Barnard was left on a switch inside. Forced it up through contact. Missed it. Got his own rebound. Forced it up again. Still wouldn't fall. And this one is rebounded by Valpo and Gordon. The quick outlet pass to Donovan Clay. Cut off by Cooper. They want to go into the post. Tough entry, and it rolls straight out of bounds looking for Krikke, and a turnover for Valpo.
Yeah, tough diagonal entry pass right there from Clay looking inside for Ognacevic. And, one of those situations there where you want to take the bounce towards the baseline, flatten out the angle to make that pass inside, and Ognacevic couldn't handle it. Turnover to PNW.
Xavier Allison off the dead ball. He's in for the first time. Played a lot of point guard, that lead spot last year for Coach Roberts. He's a reliable guard at that spot. Leader in assists so far this year with 11. Boyle turned it over looking for Friels in the lane. Gordon had the steal, and then a frustration foul from Boyle right after that.
Third turnover here thus far through the first 3 minutes and 4 seconds of this contest for Purdue Northwest. Purdue Northwest 1 of 5 shooting the basketball for 20%. Got to be efficient with the basketball against a club like this.
Here's Ben Krikke, the sophomore forward. Outside on the top, and leaves it for Donovan Clay. Barnard, good job to cut him off. Now it's rolled inside. Great spin move from Krikke. He was cut off at the rim. Outside corner, Barrett for 3. No, and Krikke the offensive rebound over Friels. Now he spins inside, put it up as well. Tipped on the rebound from Barnard to Jairus Friels. Clay is behind the play. Quick 5-on-4 for PNW if they push. Allison into the lane. Bounces it. Miskevich is called for the travel. On the look inside from Allison, another turnover.
Yep, turnover number 4 here thus far in the first half. And, and right now I think for Purdue Northwest, the speed of the game isn't the issue. I think it's more so than anything else the physicality of the game right now. Obviously Purdue Northwest played a couple of Division I schools, MAC conference schools at that, who is obviously an outstanding physical conference. But I think here this afternoon, just trying to get used to the physicality in the post has been a problem.
A couple of those freshmen we talked about. For Boomer Roberts here at PNW, Logan Phillips, Caleb Zerlini, the two guys he got to come from the West Coast up here to Northwest Indiana. An offensive foul. It's Donovan Clay handling the ball right near the timeline with Barnard on him, and a subtle push-off. An offensive foul is called.
Turnover number 2 for Valparaiso. First personal of the afternoon for Daniel Sackey.
Here's Phillips. Inside here, it's Jairus Friels. They want to double-team this. When Friels gets it, can he handle it? No. His pass was deflected, taken away by Aaron Gordon. Gordon, the trailer is Clay to the corner. Barrett's missed all of his triple attempts until now as he knocks it down. And then the netting gets stuck a bit, and that will lead us to the TV timeout. So 15:55 to play here in this opening half. It's Valparaiso 8, PNW 2. Back right after this on AM 1230, 104.7 FM, WJOB.
These have been unprecedented times for all of us.
Our patients, families, friends, and neighbors, like most around the world, have been challenged in ways we never could have imagined just a short time ago.
Our community healthcare system team has come together and risen to the occasion, leading the way in delivering care to all our patients, including those with COVID-19, doing it successfully under extraordinary circumstances.
We want to take this opportunity to share our deepest, heartfelt gratitude to our entire team for their outstanding dedication and compassion
Throughout this coronavirus pandemic and every day.
We are proud to be community strong. We are proud to be community healthcare system.
Thank you.
Back here at Valparaiso University with Brian Jennings, I'm Sam Michael. 8-2 Valparaiso through our first TV timeout. 15:55 still left in this first half. And one of the biggest problems so far for PNW has been something you always get concerned about when you play tough competition, and that is turning the ball over. The Pride have turned it over 5 times now, and they've only gotten away 5 field goal attempts. And one of the guys you would hope would be rock solid for you playing at the D1 level last year is Miskevich. He's turned it over a couple of times himself, maybe sped up a bit by the length of Valparaiso with traveling calls.
Yeah, no question about it. Also, offensively for Purdue Northwest, they haven't scored in 4 minutes. So, obviously, that's because of those turnovers, as you mentioned, leading to 5 thus far through the first 4 minutes and 5 seconds of this contest. And we talked about it at the outset of the broadcast. You've got to be able to handle the basketball, handle the pressure, and more so than anything else, avoid the live ball turnovers, because once that happens, Valpo can get into the offensive flow, can get into the open court, and get to the bucket.
As you just said, an 8-0 run for Valpo over the last 3:31, but the Pride have not scored in the last 3 minutes and 50 seconds. The only shot they were able to knock down was Not something you'd exactly draw up as a great shot. It was a Greg Boyle step back. He created some space, but that long two, he did knock it down, but nothing from near the rim. You'd like to see some easy shots, some layup attempts for your big guys, and Friels and Miscavige have not had that opportunity, especially Friels has been double-teamed almost on every catch so far.
Well, that's the one thing you're going to see. Obviously, Matt Loddick and his staff know that Friels obviously can play the game. He's averaging 16 points, versus 2 Division I schools this year, and that's going to be their focus in their planning for this one.
Allison off the bench is in there. They lob it over the top, inside to Friels, and that was easy, as Jairus Friels finally able to get a touch right inside over Ognacevic, and he scores it inside for the second Pride field goal of the game.
Yeah, nice pass inside. Good catch. Had to catch that ball over his shoulder and did a nice job catching it and shooting it as he led to the basket for the hoop.
Barnard guarding out high against McMillan. McMillan to the rim, and he scoops it down. Excuse me, that's Robinson. Not McMillan. McMillan, the former Valpo grad. Nick Robinson wears number 25 for Valpo, and he's got the bucket. There's Barnard up top. Little shoulder fake, trying to create some space. Cut off just inside the free throw line. He's got Zerlini up top. Passed up the opportunity to shoot it. And now goes back to Barnard, who hesitates. Now fires a three of his own. And that's off the side rim, no good. And a rebound from Valparaiso will draw a defensive foul against Logan Phillips.
Yeah, Phillips tried to climb the back of a Crusader. Picks up the personal foul. Tough shot right there. Quick trigger three from PNW that time. It was still 22 seconds left on the shot clock. Boomer Roberts will tell you, he's got to be patient with the basketball and trying to tell his club, look, let's try to reverse the ball, try to make the defensive move, and see if we can't get something inside with Friels.
That's been a problem at times for AB since he came back from injury about mid-January of last year. Just trying to find his shots. Good deflection here. Zerlini got it, trying to beat Clay all the way down the rim, and he jams it. Clay was contesting the entire way, and that's the excitement you want to see from the freshman.
Hey, how about Zerlini right there, showing great athletic ability and toughness as well. Went right at Donovan Clay, one of the best defenders in the Missouri Valley Conference, and threw it down over Clay.
I was thinking that Clay might catch from behind.
Yeah, I did too.
And you get a block, and not going to happen when you jam it with authority like that. Here's Lorang outside. Extra pass finds Donovan Clay trying to answer with a three, and it was all over the rim. Pops out of there, and Jairus Friels the rebound. Ahead to Cooper. Cooper drawing some contact, and now he skips through the lane. That extra contact forcing the travel, and PNW probably wanted a foul, but no call.
Yeah, Sergej Lorang, the 5'11 sophomore out of Norway for Valpo, who's checked in. Limited time this year due to injury. Stuck his nose right in there, took the bump. They let the play go on and eventually called for the travel.
Pride trying to pick up some, at least token full court pressure here. Not really trying to trap, but picking up the ball handle Lorang all the way across the timeline. That was Cooper all over him. Allison guarding here on Robinson. They want to go inside to Kricky, Ognacevic, but the pass not there. Now the pass intended outside for Robinson was deflected out by the Pride with 15 seconds to shoot.
Well, what you can see with Valpo trying to pound it inside, that's because, right now you have to respect the perimeter game for Valparaiso. So the weak side help for Purdue Northwest isn't into the lane as much. They have to keep a foot in the lane to really keep an eye on Ognacevic. But the problem with that is then you open up the perimeter game on ball reversal for a wide open look.
As we mentioned in the pregame, 28% from downtown so far for Valparaiso. And they've attempted 5, only made one of them in this game. Robinson in the corner, fakes a bit on Miscavige, got all the way inside, contact, count the basket, and he will have a chance for 3.
Yeah, that's the experience right there. Nick Robinson, the redshirt senior out of Chicago, stands at 6'5", averaging 7 points per game. 19 last year versus UIC, had 15 versus Purdue, and he's a guy that can handle himself at both ends of the floor. Nice pump fake right there. Got his men into the air, drew the contact, got the hoop in the arm, and shoots one.
That foul on Vince Miscavige, as he has had not his best start to the ball game here. Robinson can't make the free throw, and Miscavige couldn't grab the rebound as he was the last to touch it. Clay was right behind him. Good job by him to move his hands out of the way. And a new 22nd possession here for Valparaiso. 13:38 to play in this opening half. 12-6 Crusaders on top. Ognacevic inside to Clay. Little discard with the right hand. Creates the space to bank it down over Zerlini.
Yeah, that's the physicality of this conference right there. Clay sort of created that space, as you said, with that little arm bar right there, bumping the defender, in that case, Zerlini. He was able to get the hoop.
Xavier Allison trying to find some space against Gordon. Went with the back cut pass intended for Zerlini. Miskevich running it all the way down to half court. Cooper in the lane, cut off by the double team. Outside, deflected again, back to Cooper. 5 to shoot. Out for Phillips, right wing three will not go. Offensive rebound, Zerlini tracking it to the corner. Bodies flying everywhere. Allison on top. Phillips, same spot, tries again. This one would not go. And another rebound this time by Valparaiso. In the open floor, it's Robinson taking it all the way himself. Robinson underneath, leaves it, and a jam for Ognacevic.
Robinson going baseline, turned the quarter, found the dump off. Ognacevic gets the dunk, a timeout taken on the floor.
PNW timeout with 12:42 to play. Valparaiso leading by 10, 16-6. We'll step aside and come back. A lot of this first half to play here from the Arc.
Local 41, together with Indiana Laborers Training Center and our signatory employers, provide state-of-the-art instruction in all areas of the construction industry, from hazardous material handling and environmental remediation to road construction and highway safety. Remember to slow down in construction zones and that the Local 41 members working there are mothers, fathers, coaches, and mentors. Laborers Local 41. We build Indiana in more ways than one.
12:42 to play in this first half here on AM 1230, 104.7 FM, WJLB. It's the Pride and the Crusaders, Valparaiso and PNW in what is crazy 2020. So an exhibition for the Pride, but a real game for Valparaiso. As the Pride were hoping to open their season this Saturday against Grand Valley State, but that will not happen. So they'll have to, as of right now, wait until the 8th. Here's Barnard, had a good chance at the rim, missed the shot. Great hustle play, though, by Zerlini as he tipped it back to AB, who puts it in.
I'm impressed with the Zerlini kid, the freshman guard, doing a nice job. Very aggressive, not afraid, not intimidated by this competition level. He's going right at the Crusaders here this afternoon.
Robinson against Zerlini again. Little push off, and Zerlini flying on the baseline, and there was Robinson underneath the rim to just bank it in easily.
Yeah, little contact, no call. They're going to let you play at this level, especially in a game. Unfortunately, that is considered an exhibition. But at the same time, they still want to get out there and compete.
Cooper trying to go over the top. It was deflected into the backcourt. Again, bodies everywhere. Gordon came out with it. Great hands from Greg Boyle after the pass found Ognacevic underneath. He knocked it off his foot out of bounds. Now we will see the media timeout after the PNW timeout just before it. So we will step aside and take a full timeout with them. It's 18-8, Valparaiso on top. About midway through this first half of play on AM 1230, 104.7 FM.
Biology major Adam Rich is on a first-name basis with his professors. Through these connections, he is already doing hands-on research, placing him a step ahead on his career path. At Purdue University Northwest, we call that powering onward. Students determined to succeed find a home at our 2 vibrant campuses in Hammond and Westville, offering 70 areas of study, NCAA Division II athletics, hundreds of student activities, and more. It's your turn to power onward. Learn more about Purdue Northwest at pnw.edu. That's pnw.edu.
Looking for a career with stability, high wages, a pension, and the best benefits in the industry? Look no further than the Carpenters Union Local 599. We've been building our careers and communities for over 117 years. We believe in training, professionalism, and partnership. Better training, better pay, better benefits. We are the Carpenters Union. Call us at 219-942-0518 or visit ikorcc.com to start building your future.
Valparaiso leading by 10. As we get close to the midway point of this first half, 18-8 over PNW with Brian Jennings. I'm Sam Michael, and we've seen some good things from the Pride so far and some good things from Valparaiso as well. But one guy who stood out for PNW off the bench is Caleb Zerlini. He's only got 2 points, but those 2 points came in exciting fashion, and he's played some pretty solid defense as well and done the little things, tracking down some loose balls, keeping possessions alive.
Well, the one thing you see from the young kid is you see the aggressiveness, you see the confidence, and that's what you need out here against a club like Valparaiso. Obviously you're talking about a freshman who plays at the Division II level, and you're coming in and you want to make a statement. There's a little bit of a chip on the shoulder because obviously everybody thinks they can play at the Division I level. And for Zerlini here this afternoon, he's making a case to prove that he can play at this level.
He's one of those guys that Boomer will talk a lot about, and anybody who knows the D2 game, this is the kind of player you got to get. As Boomer had told me throughout the season last year during our time together, that he had multiple Division I offers to go play at Division I schools, but that he believed in what Boomer Roberts and his staff had sold as an opportunity to come play here in Northwest Indiana, play in a very competitive D2 conference, and be a guy who's going to play pretty early on as a freshman. You're seeing that here today, and you're seeing that explosiveness that leads to the potential to be a Division I guy. Greg Boyle back in there off the last time out. He comes around the screen, fires a deep three, and he knocks it down. That's about 5 to 7 feet deeper than his earlier jump shot. This one counts for 3 points instead of 2.
Boyle now with 5 points on the afternoon. He could let that one rip from about 24 feet out off the right side, and he connects.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if he can shoot the triple this year, that'll be a big deal. There's a foul as Seki had Cooper right on him. And Mikel Cooper called for the hand check foul, his second, but finishing the thought on Boyle. If he can shoot the 3 this year, he's now 4 of 8 from downtown in limited action. Of course, only third game. That'll be a huge difference maker. He struggled at time with his shots last year, especially second half of the season. He had some good looks and just couldn't get him to go. But it seemed like it almost became mental for sure. Valparaiso basketball, under 10 to shoot now. Boyle trying to play defense here on top. Robinson, great little shoulder fake, step back over Cooper, and he hits a 3 to answer.
Big-time shot by Robinson right there. I mean, he made a nice little jab step to the bucket, got his defender on his heels, stepped back from about 3 feet behind the line and connected for 3.
Length of Valpo playing a role here as Boyle tried to drive baseline. Got caught in the air, and his pass intended for the top of the key was deflected out of bounds with 21 seconds to shoot. But that is the difference right there in some of these conferences that we talk about between D1 and D2 as well. That's late shot clock. That's a guy looking up at that shot clock and realizing he's got to make a play.
Well, what it is, too, is you're looking at a redshirt senior. You know, the experience factor, the confidence factor, and the patience factor come into play.
Allison lobs it. Baseline touch for Friels. Didn't have much to work with. Kicks it out. Boyle with under 10 to shoot. Out for Zerlini now. 7 seconds on the shot clock. He will hoist it over the top of Gordon. Missed everything. Friels runs it down. Going to have to shoot it if you're Boyle from the corner. Just as the shot clock expired, missed it short. And a rebound by Agnosovic of Valpo. Under 10.5 to play in this opening half of basketball. 21-11, Valpo on top. P&W's played really well in these first halves against these two D1 teams they played before today. In fact, they led against Ohio in the first half of their last game. Here's a touch inside, and Robinson, after some tough shots earlier, misses the layup, and he couldn't believe it. Friels over the top, and Robinson not sulking too much after the miss, hustling back, able to deflect it out of bounds.
Yeah, good help side defense right there. Came across from the weak side, was just able to bat it out of bounds with 10:02 to play in the first half, 23 to shoot. The Pride have the Pride have the basketball.
Barnard trying to get it in. Gets it to Cooper. Cooper hasn't gotten anything. He drove into a crowd, lost the basketball. This is Robinson off the takeaway. Out for Saki now. Wanted to go into Robinson on the cut. Pass wasn't there. P&W in a man-to-man defense. Aaron Gordon, the redshirt senior. I mentioned Robinson, who is as well. Now Saki, 10 seconds to shoot. Over Zerlini, and Robinson has another 3.
Somebody better defend that 3 out there with Robinson. He's getting hot shooting the basketball. You know, 13-point advantage for Valparaiso behind the play of Robinson. 12 points in the first half, 2 of 2 from behind the arc.
After that shot, the netting got a little bit caught up, and so they stopped play to get some substitutions. Zerlini checking out, and Boomer Roberts telling him, can't let that guy get space after he knocks down a 3 before. Allison out for Cooper. Extra pass to Phillips. He didn't want to shoot it. They swing it around back to Barnard. Had it deflected. Goes to Allison in the corner off the drive for 3. Missed it off the short rim and then over the top of the backboard out of bounds.
Good possession right there defensively for the Crusaders. Really forcing Valparaiso into some shots that they don't want to take, some ill-advised shots and some quick shots. And that's going to be the case when you're playing against a club who has the length and the quickness on the defensive end as Valpo does.
Allison's not the guy you normally want taking shots. He had from 3 at least. He had a wide open look there from the corner, but he shot it right around 28-29% last year from downtown. And he's 1 of 2 coming into today from deep. Playing good defense, though, on Saki as they tried to kick it back out. Phillips tracked it down in the backcourt. Almost had a layup. Left it for AB, who banks it in. That was almost good news, bad news, back to good news for P&W, but the bucket.
Great move inside right there by Bernard. He was able to take it hard to the bucket, gets the hoop, drew the contact, no call, a play through right there in a nice bucket for him.
Edwards dumps it down for Cricket, left-handed shooter, hangs in the air. He's got that length over Barnard as it is, and he uses the window to knock in a bucket. Valparaiso doubling up P&W 26-13, 8.5 to play. Friels High post extended. Barnard turns around and missed a shot badly, and a long rebound out to Sackey. And this is where he can run. The lob to Edwards, open floor. Not quite a dunk, but good touch from Edwards to make sure they got the bucket.
Sheldon Edwards, one of the best athletes you're going to find in the Missouri Valley Conference as a freshman for Valparaiso, with a nice little alley-oop fingertip roll just to drop it in.
Phillips, tough skip. Barnard, even tougher pass to Cooper, and then he got a step. And a foul is called on Robinson, who he beat off the dribble. That's only the second foul against Valpo so far. And that will take us to the media timeout. Just under 8 minutes to play, 7:59 in this opening half. 28-13, Valpo on top. You're listening to AM 1230, 104.7 FM, WJOB.
Remember, everyone, tune in from 3 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday for the Region Rush Hour with Tony Panic and Sam Michael.
Well, Sam Michael and Tony Panic.
Well, yeah, Tony Panic, you know, we'll talk about it. Tune in, everybody.
Ironworkers Local 395, through their contractor employers, the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association, are the workers you see building Northwest Indiana. They are the craftsmen building your schools, hospitals, malls, steel mills, and manufacturing plants. They support local charities, including Tradewinds and Chasing Dreams, and they coach your kids after work and on the weekend. They live, work, and contribute to all of our local communities' economic growth. To find out more about these organizations, visit ironworkers395.com or nwicontractors.org.
Valparaiso using some threes from Nick Robinson and some buckets inside, most recently from Ben Cricky, to build a 15-point advantage as we hit the under 8 media timeout, coming back here with the Pride down 15 in a 28-13 game. And we've seen a little bit of everything so far. Valpo trying to, I guess, kind of get right as they start to approach some more games on their schedule, get closer and closer to Missouri Valley Conference play. You know, you look at their schedule and their season so far, 2-4, but there's a case they could easily be 3-3 or 4-2. Some tough losses to Vanderbilt and Purdue on that schedule so far. Games they were definitely in for most of the 40 minutes on the game clock. And so far in a game like this, if you're Valparaiso, the hope is D1 team and a team that's usually near the top of the Missouri Valley, to do what I just said, kind of get right and have a good performance against the PNW team here tonight.
Well, you know, you mentioned the Vanderbilt lost by 6 down in Nashville, lost at Purdue 68-61 in a game that saw Valpo have a 12-0 lead early on in the ballgame, had a 10-point lead in the second half. Sasha Stefanovic, the Boilermaker out of Crown Point, got hot in that second half, and after that ballgame, Matt Painter gave a lot of credit to Matt Loddick and his staff, and Matt Loddick's response was pretty simple. I'm tired of moral victories. You know, he was extremely upset with that because he felt his club played better than Purdue that night. Matt Painter even said that his club played better than Purdue that night, yet for the Crusaders, they came up short. But this is a club that's picked middle of the pack in the Missouri Valley Conference this season. Conference play starts week after next, the Monday after Christmas, as Bradley comes to town to kick off the conference season in the Missouri Valley. And Bradley had a great run last season before everything ended due to COVID.
There's almost nothing worse than moral victories as a coach. It drives you crazy. Cooper off the inbound, hanging in the air, tough pass out for Allison. And Allison head faked himself into a travel, and another PNW turnover. As out of the timeout, they give it right back.
Yeah, 10 turnovers on the afternoon. You counter that with 6 of 18 shooting for 34% from the floor for Purdue Northwest, and that puts you in a bad spot.
Donovan Clay back in there off the latest timeout for Valparaiso. Here is Edwards, who we talked about earlier. Great athletes. Barrett still not going. Clay now right side. Clay working one-on-one against Miscavige. Crossover. Tough jump shot. He left it short. Miscavige grabs the rebound.
Good look right there. Give Miscavige credit. Did a nice job just getting a hand in the face of Clay. Came up short. Sort of fell away on the jumper. And Miscavige was able to get the board.
Mikel Cooper really being bothered by the length. You can tell a couple of times he's been in opportunities to really change the game. But Donovan Clay got the block, led the break, and there is the three from Connor Barrett.
Yeah, Connor Barrett, the 6'6 freshman guard, can really shoot the basketball. Second three out of that corner he connected on.
Allison turned it over looking inside. Breakaway the other way. Good hands from Miscavige as he took it away from Edwards as he had just gotten into the lane. So both teams turn it over on back-to-back plays. Here's Miscavige, had Sackey on him. Instead moves it off to Logan Phillips. Phillips guarded. Took it right into a double team. Seki almost had it. Phillips underneath for Jairus Friels. Good body control to draw the foul. And Jairus Friels will shoot 2.
Friels just came underneath, got the loose ball, went up strong with it, drew the contact. And Friels, with that big body, listed at 6'6", but he plays bigger than 6'6". He can handle the bumping and the grinding going on in the post.
This is a place to watch for Jairus Friels. Really struggled early last year. Was in the mid to even at times low 40 percentage, but he got it over 50%, comfortably over that mark by the end of the season. That was a real accomplishment for him, but so far in limited free throw opportunities this year was only 2 of 5 coming into the game today, but he knocks down the first one, and that'll be a real important thing because as you see, Valparaiso knows they need to double Jairus Friels. The teams in the GLIAC know that scouting report as well. So with all the attention paid to number 32, he will shoot a lot of free throws this year, and he calmly knocks them both down here.
Yeah, look good right there. A couple of good strokes right there. Down the 16, the advantage for Valpo here as we come up on the 6.5-minute mark in the half.
Sigurd Lorang. Pass to Gordon. It found Krikke eventually. Good play by the big man. Soft hands inside to go around a couple of defenders and score.
Yeah, I think you're going to like Ben Krikke the more and more you see Krikke play. He's the kind of kid that can do it a couple of different ways. In the post, we saw right there, and his ability to square up.
Guarding Friels here. Good patience from Friels. Got all the way to the rim. Double team eventually came. Miskevich comes away with the extra pass. Zerlini then got the kick out, and he was sped up a bit as he travels. That's been the big thing. Turnover number 10 for PNW. 11 turnovers for the Pride, though. Valparaiso turning it over 6 times. Not a great number for Matt Loddick's team. He'd like to see it a little bit lower. I'd like to be around that 11 or 12 mark for the game, probably, with 5:57 to play in this first half. 33-15 Valparaiso. Krikke, after he got the post feed from Gordon last time, was looking in there for Clay. No look. So back out for Clay. He's got Cooper on him. Now Krikke with Friels. 15 to shoot. Gordon leans in on Cooper, absorbs, dumps it down on a soft touch for Clay. And he waits for the defense to blow it by and then finishes inside.
Yeah, good catch and gather yourself inside by Clay. Went up strong, was able to get the hoop.
Cooper really trying to get going. Out of control, and he missed the layup attempt, but Miskevich crashing in to dunk it down. Valpo gets it out quickly the other way. Krikke got away with a walk.
Yeah, he did.
And then he puts it in.
No question. Krikke got away with one right there. 6 points here on the afternoon.
That's tough for the officials. They were running down. I think baseline official might have gotten screened out on that play to see the travel. Here's Boyle. Nice little take to the rim. His little sidestep dribble. And then the Euro step, as they call it, for the layup. 37-19 Valpo. Under 5 to play in this opening half. Lorang with Cooper on him. Gordon had a look from 3. Initially passed it up. Now fires. Wouldn't go. Clay got the rebound, but that's because he pushed Stone in the back and is called for the foul.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon, a great experience, but needs to be consistent scoring the basketball this season. Is only averaging 6 points per game. Didn't even look to take that shot initially, but once he realized the defender gave him that look from outside the arc, he launched it and came up a little bit long on the attempt. And here's a guy that really has to score 8, 10, 12, 14 points a game to give Valpo an opportunity to have a good season. By the way, that Gordon name, folks, older brother Eric played it started at IU for a brief time, I believe, went on to the NBA, still in the NBA. Region fans remember him back in 2007, played in the state championship against East Chicago Central when he was at North Central High School, and that's where younger brother Aaron went to school.
Miskevich, quick possession this way. You don't normally like to see that, but quick one pass from Cooper to Miskevich, straightaway 3, and he knocks it down. Yeah, Gordon 1 year at IU and then been a pretty good NBA player. Here's a nice take from Sigurd Lorang all the way down from the right wing, finished with the left. And back-to-back buckets traded from PNW and Valparaiso in a 17-point Crusader lead as we approach 4 minutes to play. Off the roll, it's Friels inside. He leaned himself, missed the layup from in close, and the rebound was deflected out by Valpo. That's a good look for Jairus Friels. Just outside that restricted arc in the paint. Couldn't get it to go. Pride will have the basketball when we come back. 3:56 to play. 39-22 Valparaiso on top in this one.
Biology major Adam Rich is on a first-name basis with his professors. Through these connections, he is already doing hands-on research, placing him a step ahead on his career path. At Purdue University Northwest, we call that powering onward. Students determined to succeed find a home at our 2 vibrant campuses in Hammond and Westville, offering 70 areas of study, NCAA Division II athletics, hundreds of student activities, and more. It's your turn to power onward. Learn more about Purdue Northwest at pnw.edu. That's pnw.edu.
Looking for a career with stability, high wages, a pension, and the best benefits in the industry? Look no further than the Carpenters Union Local 599. We've been building our careers and communities for over 117 years. We believe in training, professionalism, and partnership. Better training, better pay, better benefits. We are the Carpenters Union. Call us at 219-942-0518 or visit ikorcc.com to start building your future.
Final media timeout of this first half here at the Arc, 39-22. The home team undefeated so far on this floor, trying to run it to 3-0 this year, and that's Valparaiso leading the Pride by that 39-22 mark we just mentioned. With Brian Jennings, I'm Sam Michael, and just kind of finished that thought we had about the Gordon brothers. Aaron Gordon here. Feels like he's been one of those 6-year college guys, redshirt senior. He's bounced around from a couple programs, and he finds himself here at Valpo trying to help this program make March Madness this year. But Eric Gordon, 1 year at IU, and IU fans probably a decent amount, maybe a couple listening right now. A lot of IU fans in the region all over the state, but Eric Gordon had a hand injury. It was one of those things where IU's gotten 2 of those big-time Mr. Basketball players in the last 20 years, and both of them had almost the same injury, and that was Gordon and Romeo Langford. And so I don't know if IU fans ever really saw the Eric Gordon that they saw in high school and then has gone on to be so good in the NBA. So just one of those tough things where luck would have it. You don't see the best of the guys you think you're normally seeing with a guy like Gordon and Langford who are just so good in this state.
Well, the other thing, too, is that because of the situation we're in right now, you mentioned the one and done, the guys that bolt for the NBA. Everything's changing right now, folks, because everybody that plays at the Division I level, a fall or winter sport, or Division II level at the NCAA level gets that free year. So this is basically a free year for these guys. If they want to come back next year, they get that opportunity. I don't know how many of them would do it at either school because of the academic responsibilities that come with it. Mm-hmm. But from a basketball standpoint, they do have that option if they wanted to come back.
Yeah, it's tough for coaches, too. So much indecision. They don't know how to recruit. Cooper working one-on-one against Lorang, came up with the steal, got on the floor, and comes away with the basketball. Good play by Sigurd Lorang. And now a bump here. Robinson tried to go right at Anthony Irvin. And a touch foul was called just outside the free throw line. And that's team foul number 6, which means Valpo will be in the bonus for the final 3:41. 25 seconds to shoot, baseline inbound. As they get it into Barrett, now Lorang handles it out against Irvin again. Gordon with Greg Boyle on him, wanted to dump it inside, but good defense by AB to ward off Barrett that time. Barrett gets it back. Gordon, extra pass for Lorang. Lorang, tough step back 3 over Cooper, left it a bit short, and you could see that from a mile away. It'll be bonus time off the rebound. A foul was called as Connor Barrett came crashing inside, and he will shoot 1-1.
Well, nice job defensively by PNW. You force Sigurd Lorang to launch a 3 from 22 feet on top, comes up long, foul underneath, and for the Pride, that's a good defensive stop right there. If you can force Lorang in to shoot in the basketball.
Tough couple minutes for Anthony Irvin. The freshman had just come in, and he was the one called for the touch foul on Robinson before that, and he got called on this rebounding foul with a 1-1 for Barrett, who makes the front end. So Anthony Irvin, that's one of those freshman moments. He's a guy that I know Boomer likes to help his team. Talk about Valpo struggles shooting the 3. The Pride were at times good last year, but also struggling. Not a great shooting team, I would say. So Irvin hoping to provide that. Had been 3 or 4 from downtown so far in their 2 games, but didn't even get a chance to shoot the ball in this one before getting 2 quick fouls. Extra pass. This is also a guy they like to shoot it. Phillips left it short from the corner. Miskevich able to track down an offensive rebound. And a fresh 20 seconds here. Boyle bounces it on the pick and roll to Miskevich. Had it deflected, no call. And then off the second chance, Miskevich is fouled, and he will shoot 2.
Good job by Miskevich going to the glass, fouls up the miss. did a nice job. He was underneath the basket, gathered himself, came back strong into the defender. Personal foul goes against Valpo.
It's 5 team fouls against Valparaiso now. 2 shots here for Miscavige, and he misses the first. That foul on Nick Robinson. Or excuse me, they gave that one to Ognasovic. Initially put 25 up on the scoreboard, but changed it to big number 34. And a second free throw coming from Miscavige. He's kind of uncharacteristically struggling. Just kind of looks like a guy who would be a good free throw shooter, solid part of his game, but 3 of 6 coming into the game, and he stays at that 50% mark. He's got a good stroke as well, and that'll be something to watch as this season progresses. 18-point lead for Valpo as the Pride pick up the pressure here with the full court, but again back off the inbound. It's Robinson to take it across the timeline against Barnard. Got a step now down the lane, and he scoops it in. Good soft touch for Nick Robinson.
Robinson doing a nice job, showing his ability to put it on the floor and take it hard to the bucket. 14 points on the afternoon. 6 of 7 from the floor.
20-point lead now. With 2.5 to play, Valpo leading 43-23. Miscavige one-on-one, spun into a double team under the rim. Missed it, but one of the shortest guys on the floor, Boyle, got it. His shot wouldn't go inside. And the rebound off to Ben Krikke of Valpo. Miscavige stole it, though, on the outlet, but he was standing out of bounds when he did.
Nice job by Miscavige. Anticipated the pass, made the steal, just stepped on the end line. That's a turnover you can live with if you're Boomer Roberts.
Officials having a conversation. I thought Miscavige had caught that and was in the air, but I don't think they're going to change anything here.
No, I think it was more so than anything else, the shot clock,
Mm-hmm.
trying to see if it should be reset. Was it a possession? Was it not a possession? That sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Daniel Sackey with the basketball off the inbound. Gets a step on Allison. He gets a step on a lot of guys. Bounced it down. A tough catch. I think that was deflected twice. Miscavige first, then off the hands of Krikke out of bounds and a turnover.
Number 7 for the Crusaders. 12 miscues thus far in the first half for Purdue Northwest.
Xavier Allison quickly back the other way. Handed off from Boyle back to Allison. Barnard outside, driving all the way, had it blocked into the hands of Sackey. It's 3-on-1 the other way. Gordon drives, and he traveled. That's a good call, as Gordon couldn't believe it, but he took 3 steps.
Yep, he shuffled the shoes, no doubt.
He got kind of caught deciding, I think, if he was going to pass that ball or shoot it. 2 minutes now left in this half. 43-23, Valparaiso. Logan Phillips skips it across for Barnard. Back for Phillips now. Screen and roll here with Miscavige. They roll it outside. Miscavige, good fake to the corner. That left AB wide open underneath as he puts it in.
Well, good ball movement right there, that possession for Purdue Northwest. They spread Valpo out defensively. Good pump fake. Got the defense to anticipate and move. Nice threading of the needle right there by Barnard. And the bucket goes.
Aaron Gordon outside. Trying to go over the top. Good hands from Miscavige on the length to take it away. Quickly ahead. Allison for Phillips. Phillips had it deflected off the miss. A foul is called, and I think that's on Valpo. Looks like it is. That's on Sackey, and it'll be Pride basketball out of bounds. 16 fouls now, so both teams in the bonus for the final 119.
Sackey, as you mentioned, with his first personal.
Pride, plenty of time on that shot clock. 25 seconds off the baseline inbound. Miscavige gets it. Allison off the quick touch pass. Trying to work the 2-man game right side. Double team comes for Allison. He's got to be careful because of the length. His pass was deflected. It hit him last. And another Pride turnover.
Well, a little bit too much dribbling as well down in that corner. Tried to thread the needle with a pass. Kicked out of bounds. It's going to go back to Valparaiso.
Yeah, for Allison, he's only a guy who 5'9", 5'10". Might be listed at 5'11", but
that's pushing it.
Yes. Yeah. He is a guy who's not going to be able to go over the top of too many people. Him and Sackey are pretty similar in stature, and here's a reach-in foul with 1:05 on the clock and Valparaiso in the bonus at half court. That will mean a couple of free throws potentially for Sackey, at least one if he earns the second. That's not a foul you want to see if you're Boomer Roberts from your senior point guard. First foul on Allison as Friels comes back in. Phillips also out of there as Mikel Cooper, who's had a tough evening, checks back in as well. 1-1 here for Sackey. That was the team's 8th foul. As Sackey able to make the first and earn the second. 19-point lead for Valpo. And as we mentioned, the Pride had right in it against Bowling Green. I think they were down 3, if I remember correctly, and had a couple-point advantage over Ohio, who took Illinois to the wire in a game they played. Sackey makes them both. It's a 20-point lead for Valpo.
Yeah, they trailed by 3 at half to Bowling Green. Lost that ball game 88-67.
Off the inbound, some pressure being applied as Cooper caught it and was tripped up and a little banged up here as he's able to gather himself. And a couple of quick fouls. That one called on Sackey, providing the pressure. That's 2 on the junior guard for Valpo and Matt Loddick. 1-1 for Mikel Cooper, who is 83% from the stripe this year. And he will have a chance to get this under a 20-point lead, and he does, as he makes the front end of his 1-1.
Cooper, the junior guard out of Milwaukee, 52 points in a game last season at McHenry Junior College.
Yeah, Boomer was really excited about Cooper as he gets a kind roll here to make both free throws. 18-point game. He loves the athleticism, the talent from the transfer. As we mentioned, the junior, a guy who can really get to the rim. But I think the length today of Valpo has made it a lot tougher on Cooper than he's used to. And that'll be something to watch in Gliac play. Screen and roll to the rim as it was low, though, for Krikke, and that left a chance for Boyle to take it, who comes up with the steal. Cooper hesitating, steps right into a 3 and knocks it down. 5 quick points from Cooper.
Cooper with a step-back 3, got Gordon on his heels, pulled the trigger on top and drains it.
15-point lead for Valpo. Sackey into the lane, waits on Cooper, got the angle but missed the shot in close. Couple second differential, shot clock, game clock. And Boomer yelling for one shot. Almost identical here between both. The shot clock and game clock now approaching 15 seconds. In fact, they turned it off as there was about a half second more on the shot clock. 10 seconds now, Cooper near the logo. Gordon on him, they bring the trap. Cooper with 5. Corner, Barnard thought about a 3, drives baseline, left it under. Miskevich hesitates at the buzzer and score the bucket. And you couldn't have drawn it up any better than that, taking every second off that shot clock and game clock. And Miskevich gets inside to get the bucket. 13-point lead for Valpo, a 7-0 quick run at the end of the half to get PNW a bit back into this one. We will step aside. We'll hear from Boomer Roberts here at the half as we had a chance to talk with him Monday. Then we will come back and get you set for the second half. 45-32, Valpo on top. You're listening to AM 1230, 104.7 FM, WJOB.
Truthfully, we just started digging into them today just because the way scheduling is gone. We weren't sure if that was going to be an actual opponent. And so a lot to learn still as we go throughout the week. But and then Grand Valley's a countable game for us where this one's an exhibition. So there's kind of 2 focuses on the week. But Coach gets his guys playing hard all the time. If you go to a Valpo game, that's the biggest compliment I think any coach can give another coach is, do they compete? And those guys compete. Clay has stepped up big, and he's been kind of a go-to guy for them. Sackey has a ton of speed. He's a one-man fast break and transition. Then they got a couple freshmen that are really shooting it that help them. They play a few freshmen like we do. So anytime you go there, you're going to be in for a physical battle. They're guarding very, very well, forcing turnovers and making shots tough, and then they rebound and get out. So I think they've only had 2 home games, and they blitzed both teams. They won one by 40 and one by 22. So they're tough there like anybody is at home. And we're going to have to continue to get better if we want to go there and have a good showing.
Let's talk about the game coming up behind that as well. Saturday. So clarify what you, because I thought this counts towards the record, Saturday's game. Ideally, we're going to play that one. But it's not a conference game, or what's the whole story?
Yeah, if you take everything you know about scheduling and kind of throw it out the window, 2020, 2021, that's how all these Division I games have come up as opponents, unfortunately have gotten COVID or whatever, had to reschedule. And testing's a big part of that, following the NCAA protocol. We've been fortunate enough that way to be able to play. But the conversation just is ongoing. And, as long as everything holds, it will be a exhibition Thursday against Valpo and the 2 NCAA teams in the region, which I think is a pretty cool deal. I wish, they there'd be a ton of fans there and all that kind of stuff. Thankful for the opportunity to go down there and play them. Just cool to see the region who loves hoops, get to see their two NCAA teams play. And then on Saturday, even though Grand Valley is in the GLIAC, it is a non-conference game because conference starts in January. And the reason that is just it's hard to find teams that are testing consistently that are available to play. And at this point, we might be giving something up and giving teams more scouts or whatever, film, things like that. But guys came to be student athletes. They're getting the student part. It's finals week for us, and they want to get the athlete part. They want to compete. And so at this point, we're playing two great teams this week, Lord willing, and it'll be a great measuring stick, Sam, for our team to see the progress that we've made, not only over the last couple of years, but also over the last couple of weeks. So I know our guys are fearless. I know they're hungry. I hope they're studying right now. If you're listening, keep studying. But it'll be a fun week.
One name that stands out, and if you've listened to any of our games last couple of years, that's Jake Van Tubergen. He is one of the guys, probably, I'm sure he's maybe even preseason player of the year, but he's definitely in that first team preseason, I'm sure, all conference. He is that kind of star, and he's a guy, when we've done the games last few years, and I talked to you, what do you got to do to try and win against Grand Valley State? And he's one of the first guys you always mentioned. He is tough.
Yeah, I think if he's not starting, he's playing major minutes in the Big Ten. He's that good. He was the freshman of the year, then he was all league, then he was all league, and this year he's got a great chance to do that again. So they surround him with a five-man Negron, who is an Illinois kid, played on Loyola's Final Four team. They got another Division I transfer in Isaac Gassman, big lefty that shoots it. They got another Division I transfer from the Pac-12. They got another 6'11" Division I transfer. They back him up with a 6'11" guy, a returner that played significant or decent amount of minutes for them last year. So they're big, they're physical. Coach Wesley does a great job. There's a reason people know them. They're as good as any low major to mid major Division I in the country from a talent perspective on any given night. Now, we beat them our first year. We got real fortunate. We hit a bunch of threes. We beat them on the road. And then last year we lost by 2 here at this place. So we've competed well against them in spurts. But in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. And they're in that conversation in our league as consistently the best every single year. And there's a reason why. They're very talented. They're tough. They're big. They shoot it. So again, I'm smiling because I'm excited about it. It's just fun. You want to play good players, good teams, good coaches, and we're going to get to do that this week, hopefully.
Yeah, Coach Wesley's been there a long time, at 17th season. I was looking earlier that he is going to be around, and that's that continuity that we're talking about. Guys see a winning program, and all of a sudden they're a little bit more inclined to come transfer in, even from the D1 level down to the D2 level. But you mentioned, and we've seen it up close and personal. Why do you think that that you guys have done, as you mentioned, a little bit of luck involved always when you're playing really good teams, but why do you think you've competed so well against them and won a game and kept other games close?
There's probably a few things to point to, but we play pretty fearless, Sam. We have not had the most talent in the league. We get that, and I hope we're changing that. We're getting more and more. But we get guys that love to compete and love to play and play for each other. And when you do that, I don't think it's always the most talented teams that win, or else Kentucky would win the national title every year. That's just not the case. Who can play well together? Who plays fearlessly? Who executes? Who rebounds the ball? Who doesn't turn it over? And our guys, if you look at our game, Ferris State's another team that's been top 15 in the country. They won the national title 2 years ago. Big time coach. I think our last 3 times playing them were 5, 4, and 4. They're close games. Now good teams finish, and they finish, and they beat us, and that's the reason why. We weren't there yet, but we've been very competitive. We just, I think that fearlessness will take you to a certain level, and then at some point you got to have some horses that take you over the hump and take over the game. So that's the best answer I can give, and hopefully we continue to do that.
Hello again, everybody. This is Matt Maloney of the Matt Maloney Real Estate Group, powered by Keller Williams of Northwest Indiana. The region is a beautiful place to live, and I've soared to new heights to market your listing to the best and widest possible audience. Call me today at 219-301-0477 or visit mattmaloneyrealtor.com and let's get started. It's not baloney. I'm Matt Maloney.
Bricklayers and Allied Crafts Workers Local 4, Indiana, Kentucky, has been building careers and communities here in Indiana and throughout the state of Kentucky for more than 125 years. Whether it's installing block, brick, stone, ceramic tile, terrazzo, and refractories, or restoring the buildings we built 50 or 100 years ago, BAC Local 4 and our signatory contractor partners are the best hands in the business. For more information, contact our local chapter office in Maryville at 219-769-3655. Or visit us at baclocal4.org. St. Nicholas Byzantine Catholic Church in Munster is proud to celebrate Divine Liturgy on WJOB. Join us every Sunday on WJOBnetwork.com as well as AM 1230 and 104.7 FM at 8:30 a.m. We return to in-person church with only an 8:30 liturgy. Liturgy will continue to be broadcasted as well for those who are sick or do not yet wish to return. Be safe and see you in church.
Biology major Adam Rich is on a first-name basis with his professors. Through these connections, he is already doing hands-on research, placing him a step ahead on his career path. At Purdue University Northwest, we call that powering onward. Students determined to succeed find a home at our two vibrant campuses in Hammond and Westville, offering 70 areas of study, NCAA Division II athletics, hundreds of student activities, and more. It's your turn to power onward. Learn more about Purdue Northwest at pnw.edu. That's pnw.edu.
It's easy to feel a sense of gratitude here in Indiana because there is a whole lot to be grateful for. Family and friends and enough calmness around you to really appreciate the simple things. I really just try to show gratitude by doing my part, working hard, being friendly and kind. I feel really lucky to live here.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
Remember, everyone, tune in from 3 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday for the Region Rush Hour with Tony Panic and Sam Michael.
Well, Sam Michael and Tony Panic.
Well, yeah, Tony Panic, you know what? We'll talk about it. Tune in, everybody.
Ironworkers Local 395, through their contractor employers, the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association, are the workers you see building Northwest Indiana. They are the craftsmen building your schools, hospitals, malls, steel mills, and manufacturing plants. They support local charities, including Tradewinds and Chasing Dreams, and they coach your kids after work and on the weekend. They live, work, and contribute to all of our local communities' economic growth. To find out more about these organizations, visit ironworkers395.com or nwicontractors.org.
Looking for a career with stability, high wages, a pension, and the best benefits in the industry? Look no further than the Carpenters Union Local 599. We've been building our careers and communities for over 117 years. We believe in training, professionalism, and partnership. Better training, better pay, better benefits. We are the Carpenters Union. Call us at 219-942-0518 or visit ikorcc.com to start building your future.
These have been unprecedented times for all of us.
Our patients, families, friends, and neighbors, like most around the world, have been challenged in ways we never could have imagined just a short time ago.
Our community healthcare system team has come together and risen to the occasion, leading the way in delivering care to all our patients, including those with COVID-19, doing it successfully under extraordinary circumstances.
We want to take this opportunity to share our deepest, heartfelt gratitude to our entire team for their outstanding dedication and compassion
throughout this coronavirus pandemic and every day.
We are proud to be community strong. We are proud to be community healthcare system.
Thank you.
Laborers Local 41, together with Indiana Laborers Training Center and our signatory employers, provide state-of-the-art instruction in all areas of the construction industry, from hazardous material handling and environmental remediation to road construction and highway safety. Remember to slow down in construction zones and that the Local 41 members working there are mothers, fathers, coaches, and mentors. Laborers Local 41. We build Indiana in more ways than one.
Power comes in many different forms. We depend on it everywhere we go. It's in our homes, our offices, our stores, our factories and plants. We are the experts who harness it and deliver it to you. We are the Powering America team of Northwest Indiana, the best trained, most skilled, and safest electricians in the world. The very definition of value in every job we do. For your next project, go to CertifiedElectrician.com.
Welcome back at the Arc alongside Sam Michael. My name is Brian Jennings. At the break, it's the Valparaiso Crusaders on top over the Purdue Northwest Pride by a score of 45-32. Let's take a look at some of the first half numbers in this ball game. We'll start first with Purdue Northwest. The Pride were led in scoring in the first half. They were led in scoring by an 8-point performance from Vince Miscavige, 7 points from Greg Boyle, 5 points from Mikhail Cooper, 6 from Anthony Bernard, 4 points from Jairus Fields, and 7 points, as I mentioned, from Boyles, as well as 2 points from Caleb Zerlini. For the Pride in the first half, 12 of 33 from the floor. In the first half, they shot 36%, 3 of 9 from behind the arc for 33%, went to the stripe 6 times, hit 5 for 83%. Sam Michael, looking at the numbers, one that sticks out, 13 turnovers in the first half for the Pride of Purdue Northwest. That allowed Valparaiso into 13 fast break points.
Well, and that's something you can't do against teams you know are probably by the natural D1 versus D2 opponents. You know they're probably a little bit better than you, a little bit deeper, a little bit better at every single position. Then if you're going to turn it over that many times,
right,
that's a problem. And the length is obviously something that really factored into that. I thought Miscavige traveled a couple of times because he got into good spots on the floor, but all of a sudden there was 2 or 3 guys around him with their arms up, and he got nowhere to go to travel and do stuff like that. Same with Cooper. So if you're P&W, you had a 7-0 run at the end of that first half. You're going to get back in this. You almost really have to do 5 or less turnovers in this second half to have a shot.
Numbers for Valparaiso look like this. 14 points in the first half for Nick Robinson of 6 of 7 shooting. He led all scorers in the first half. 8 from Connor Barrett, 6 apiece from Donovan Clay and Ben Cricky, 5 from Daniel Sacchi. And 2 points off the bench from Sergey Lorang, 2 points as well from Jacob Ognasevich, and as well as Sheldon Edwards. For the Crusaders, they were 18 of 28 for 64% from the floor, 4 of 10 from behind the arc for 40%, 5 of 7 from the stripe for 72%. In the first half, they gave it back to Purdue Northwest 10 times through the first 20 minutes of action. Points in the paint, Valpo outscored PNW 24-16. Fast break points, all Valparaiso 13-4 advantage Crusaders, and points off the bench, Sam. And this is one of the things we talked about, and this is where the depth comes in. Valpo outscoring Purdue Northwest 20-2.
Yeah, and that was a little bit surprising because not so much the discrepancy, but if you look at that 20-2 mark, you think about the 2 points PNW has, and if you listen to the first half, you may know where they came from. It was Caleb Zerlini.
Right.
And it was kind of a flare. He jammed it down over Donovan Clay. And if you think about that, that's the only points they had. That might be the thought that goes through your head, and that's the harsh reality of it right now, that there was a huge discrepancy, and that'll be something that has to change. You're going to have to get some better performances from some guys who provide that depth.
Second half underway. Both teams on the floor with their original starting 5. It'll be Valpo basketball working from right to left on your dial. Check that. Yep, from right to left. I'm sorry. This is Clay, foul line left. He'll put it to the floorboard with 18 seconds left to shoot. Baseline left. Here's Cricky. Cricky looking inside for Gordon. Skip pass right side, Sacchi. Right corner, Clay. Back to Sacchi. He'll penetrate. He'll stop and pop with a floater in the lane, and he connects. Daniel Sacchi with 7 points here on the afternoon. Lead up to 15 once again for Valparaiso, 30 seconds in.
That little space just with that threat of a guy in the corner for Sacchi.
Long-range bomb from Cooper, no good. Long board by Donovan Clay, a one-and-done that trip. Here come the Crusaders on the push. Barrett stops and pops. Can't get that to drop. Battle underneath. Miscavige with a board. He is bumped from behind. We've got a tie-up, and the Arrow's going to give it back to the Pride.
A couple of quick shots on both ends of the floor. Barrett, though, much more wide open. Pride had that 7-0 run, as we mentioned. To get it from 20, all of a sudden you're within 13. You feel like you might have a shot in this ball game. But a quick shot from Cooper. He's not the guy you want pulling it from deep.
Purdue Northwest coming in 0-2 overall. Losses on the road at Bowling Green and at Ohio to the Bobcats. Valpo comes in 2-4. Lob off the inbound, looking for Friels. Pump fake, loses the handle, gets it back. Shot blocked. Follows up his own miss. The big fella still can't get it to drop. Sackey with the basketball for Valpo. Here's Sackey, left of the lane, finds Kricky, the big fella. Squares up on his defender, Miskevich from 15. The lefty jumper, no good. Rebound into the hands of Cooper. And here come the Pride on the fly. Boyle, foul line right. On top, Cooper. The lefty again will pull the trigger, and he connects once again. Mikael Cooper, the junior guard out of Milwaukee, brings Purdue Northwest within 12. 18:36 left in the contest.
Yeah, I was thinking when I said that Cooper is not the guy you want to shoot the three. Not exactly right, just the way he did it on the previous possession. That one, though, in rhythm, is the shot you want.
Again, here's Kricky. Now to Barrett. Wide open triple try. Left of the lane is no good. Friels snatches up the rebound for the Pride. Purdue Northwest down 12. Coming up on the 18-minute mark left in the game. Lob inside for Miskevich. An ill-advised pass from Cooper. And a turnover goes back to Valparaiso. Turnover number 14 on the afternoon for the Pride.
That's the good and the bad of this second half for Cooper so far, and he's kind of frustrated with himself. Just too far to throw that pass into Miskevich, and it went straight out of bounds. Didn't even have a chance.
Full court man-to-man this trip now by Purdue Northwest. Here's Sackey to the timeline, finds Clay in the jump circle. Clay to the floorboard with a hip-high left-hand dribble. Hands it off to Sackey, circle left, takes a Kricky screen on top, finds Kricky left of the lane, left corner Clay, wide open 18-footer, going to be short. And Boyle with the rebound and the push for the Pride. Lob up ahead. Here's Bernard to the bucket. Loses the handle, but Friels finds it right of the lane. Looks inside from Miskevich, turned it over. Kricky has it. 3-on-2 for the Crusaders if they hurry. Here's Gordon to the glass. Contact and a two-shot foul coming up against the Pride of Purdue Northwest.
We can really tell right now that the pace of this game has sped up substantially, and part of that is Valpo is letting PNW speed it up. I think the Pride want to, and a couple of shots that you're thinking about for Valpo. One from Barrett was that left wing three. He was wide open. He's missed a couple wide open shots uncharacteristically, but the shot after that from Kricky on that baseline jumper from the big guy, that's just too early for Valpo. That's not a shot they want to take with 20-plus seconds on the shot clock.
Gordon misses number one, the senior out of Indianapolis, averaging 6 points, 4 rebounds per game, shooting 57% from the stripe. Will get another. And Gordon comes up empty. Clock rolls, 17:35 to go in the game, and a 12-point Valpo lead. Purdue Northwest with a basketball. Here's Cooper turning the corner, fall away J right of the lane, no good. Rebound by Kricky of the Crusaders. Up ahead on the push, here's Sackey with a behind-the-back dribble. Bounce pass, backdoor Clay with a reverse layup, and he connects.
Great look inside from Sackey. That's been the two good possessions for Valpo so far. Him getting to that free throw line and having options off it. Got the bucket himself one time. This time he finds Clay.
Clay with 8 points here on the afternoon. Lead back to 14. The floater down the lane with a little scoop to the hoop by Mikael Cooper is up and good. Cooper with a nice move inside. He's in double figures with 10.
I think he wanted to pass that. And ultimately, his athleticism helped him stay in the air for a while and get the layup.
12-point advantage for the Crusaders working with a rock. 20 seconds to shoot on the possession. Game clock under 17 minutes. And here's Gordon, foul line right. He'll force his way into the lane. Reverse layup for Kricky off the bounce pass is no good. Friels with the board for the Pride of Purdue Northwest.
PNW fortunate there. Really good look. Friels got caught watching the dribbler.
Here's Boyle. Outside the arc on the right wing on top. Friels who reverses it left side to Bernard. Bernard on top now finds Miskevich. Step back three from the big fella, and he drills it. So the sophomore out of South Elgin, Illinois, brings the Pride within 9. 16:21 to go in the ball game.
Really interesting all of a sudden. Pride played much better in the first half, a lot of their games. Second half, maybe this one.
Off the two-man game, Kricky on the back door, poked out of bounds. And with 18 to shoot, it's going to stay with Valparaiso. Quick substitution. Logan Phillips checks back in for the Pride of Purdue Northwest. Phillips with a nice first half. Played nearly 9 minutes. Didn't score, but provided spark off the bench on the defensive end. Here's Kricky. Baseline left. Blows by Friels. Takes it with a floater to the lane. No good. Follows up his own miss. Battled underneath. Boyle has it for Purdue Northwest. Pride with no number, so Boyle will put the brakes on. Now he's going to launch it from 23. A bad shot right there is no good. But there's Miskevich with the offensive board. Now to Cooper. Cooper splits the defenders, takes it into the lane. And a blocking foul coming up against Valparaiso. But we'll have a timeout first. So with 15:49 to go in the ball game, it's Valparaiso 49, Purdue Northwest 40. Back after this. This is college basketball on AM 1230 WJOB and 104.7 FM.
Hello again, everybody. This is Matt Maloney of the Matt Maloney Real Estate Group, powered by Keller Williams of Northwest Indiana. The region is a beautiful place to live, and I've soared to new heights to market your listing to the best and widest possible audience. Call me today at 219-301-0477 or visit mattmaloneyrealtor.com and let's get started. It's not baloney. I'm Matt Maloney.
It's easy to feel a sense of gratitude here in Indiana because there is a whole lot to be grateful for. Family and friends and enough calmness around you to really appreciate the simple things. I really just try to show gratitude by doing my part, working hard, being friendly and kind. I feel really lucky to live here.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
Back at the Arc, Homer Drew Court alongside Sam Michael. My name is Brian Jennings. Thanks for tuning in. 15:49 to go in the ball game. Valparaiso on top over Purdue Northwest by a score of 49-40. Crusaders and the Pride playing here tonight due to the COVID restrictions. Travel has been an issue for both clubs. So this game worked out, a last-minute agreement, so to speak. I think it was about Tuesday before the game was finalized. And this is a good ball game for both clubs. You know, Valparaiso looking for some games as well. They'll be in action on Monday night picking up Mount St. Joseph. And for Purdue Northwest, they were supposed to play Grand Valley State on Saturday. That game postponed. So things up in the air right now for everybody. And for Purdue Northwest and Boomer Roberts, when the offer was extended from Valparaiso, he jumped right on it.
Yeah, we talked Monday, and I was saying, Coach, we're hoping for 2 games, right? Thursday, Saturday. He said, yes, please, God. That's the hope. And I think that's what everybody's thinking right now is almost some of that. If you even not a religious person, it's like almost pray to something at this point. The basketball gods, if anything,
right,
to get some basketball, and they're both happy. I know the Pride will be frustrated not to play on Saturday, but they're happy just to get out here tonight. I know that.
No question. After the timeout, it's going to be Purdue Northwest basketball. Pride shooting 33% here this half, 3 of 9 from the floor, 2 of 4 from behind the arc. While Valpo off to a cold start shooting it, 2 of 9 for 22%, 0 of 3 from behind the arc. And it's going to be baseline right of the rack, Purdue Northwest basketball. Pride down 9, 15:49 to go in the ball game. Now the official's going to step in as Friels and Ben Cricky getting a little bit handsy. And after the inbound, here's Pride basketball. Miskevich had to go right through the wickets, controlled in the corner by Daniel Sacchi. Turnover. Sacchi on the push. He'll scoop it up and in, loses it, but it rolls out of bounds. Off the scoop, he tried to take it to the bucket, lost it, rolls out of bounds, and the turnover by Valpo gives it back to the Pride.
Yeah, Pride lucky there. When you get Sacchi open floor, start thinking a lot of times Valpo is in business on that, but not so much with the turnover.
16 turnovers now for Valparaiso. 15:29 to go in the ballgame, and a 9-point Valpo lead. Pride working with it. Here's Boyle right of the lane. Defended there by Clay. Kick out pass. Long 3 from Cooper is no good. It's loose on top. There's Boyle finding it, and a fresh shot clock opportunity for Purdue Northwest. But the steal was battled for at the timeline. Sacchi dives along the sideline, rolls out of bounds. And it's going to go back to the Pride, so things get a little bit sloppy on both ends.
Absolutely. Jairus Friels was open on that lob pass that started all that craziness. And Greg Boyle, I think, all of a sudden not realizing that, wait a minute, we're playing Valparaiso, these D1 guys, every guy out here looks like they're 6'4", 6'5", and the length, normally you could throw it over the top, maybe even in conference play, but not quite the case, and just some hustle gets the Pride the ball back.
Yeah, Purdue Northwest battling Valparaiso here. Long way to go in this one. 15 minutes to go and a 9-point lead for Valpo. 2-3 zone this trip down by Valparaiso. Purdue Northwest basketball. Bernard now with the basketball goes on top. That's Phillips. Phillips down the lane with the floater, following with the left hand. No good. Rebound by Nick Robinson. Robinson with a nice first half off the left elbow. Finds Clay, foul line left. Back on top to Robinson. Now they go right of the lane to Sacchi. Shot clock's at 19. Stolen away by Bernard. He'll take it to the bucket. 1-on-1 against Ben Cricky. Gets the hoop, the harm, and he'll shoot 1.
Well, that's a couple of reasons right there that you like the potential of AB. And Boomer will talk about that all the time, about how much they like Anthony Barnard. And there's 2 reasons. It's the length and athleticism that gets the steal, and then that combines to get you in the open floor. Normally when AB's in the open floor, it's going to be a dunk or something aggressive to the rim. But you could see, for the folks who are here with us, that he grabbed that loose ball off the steal and then kind of checked back to be ready to absorb some contact and knew he'd have to finish and did, and a chance for three.
Yeah, the Kokomo, Indiana native can't convert on the three-point opportunity. Rebound by Donovan Clay of Valpo. Valpo basketball. Here's Barrett on top, Ognacevic. Big fella from the right elbow, looks right corner, finding Clay with 15 to shoot. Clay back to Ognacevic, who goes head of the key now to Lorang between the rings. Back swinging it right side to Clay. 8 to shoot. Valpo looking to attack. Here's Clay, left of the lane. Clay to the left hand, shot up, no good, contact. And a two-shot foul going to be charged to Purdue Northwest.
That is a mismatch when you're that high out on the floor. Now, Jairus Friels, who gets called for that foul, can guard Donovan Clay if he's standing where Jairus Friels is right now, and that's on the block. But when he's got to try to move his feet with Donovan Clay from the free throw line all the way to the rim, chances are number 5 in the home uniform is going to have a step on Jairus Friels.
Clay, who shoots 69% from the stripe, misses number 1 preseason All-Missouri Valley Conference second-team selection. Exciting player who can stretch the floor for Matt Loddick. Will get one more opportunity as Miscavige re-enters now for Purdue Northwest.
That's only one foul on Jairus Friels, who just checked out. So that's one piece of good news for Jairus Friels in this ballgame. Been a tough one otherwise.
Lead up to 8, 50-42. Valpo on top after Clay splits 1 out of 2. 14 minutes left in the ballgame. Pride basketball. Here's Cooper, right of the lane to the floorboard. He'll put it with a right-hand dribble. Goes on top, finds Phillips. Now Phillips squares up on Clay. Takes it left elbow, dumps it left corner to Bernard. He'll head and shoulder fake on Barrett. No dice right there. Pounds it inside. Miscavige on Ognacevic. Kick out pass, head of the key. Bernard now for 3 on the way is up and good. Dead on 3 right there by Bernard. Anthony Bernard with the hoop. And the lead is down to 5 for Valparaiso here as we have 13:28 left in the ballgame. Clock moving. Lorang in the front court. Whistle off the ball. What do we got?
I think it's on Mikel Cooper, it looks like.
Yep, it's going to be... Actually, it's going to be Jairus Friels with the personal foul. Friels with his... Nope, they're going to say you're right. It is Cooper. For a second, they had 32 up there. So it's going to be Cooper. That'll be his second, team 3 here in the half. 13:24 left. Baseline right of the rack. It's Valpo basketball off the inbound. Robinson looks for a teammate. Finds Clay on top, who out jumps Cooper right there for the basketball. Right side, Lorang. Sergid Lorang turns the corner, and a whistle off the ball. And it's going to be against Purdue Northwest. Barnard gets the personal foul.
Yeah, he just tried to run through the screener there.
Yep, no
and
doubt.
Terry Weimer, veteran. It's a guy who's worked national championship games. Yep. He's not going to miss that one.
No question. Now the rain goes left side to Barrett. Pounds it inside for Clay. Whistle inside. And Logan Phillips will get called for the wraparound.
And this is what you got to watch, because all of a sudden Pride went from 2 team fouls and just got 3 in about 45 seconds of game time, and now you're already thinking about Valpo getting close to the bonus with the Pride having 5 team fouls.
Valpo's gone nearly 4 minutes without a bucket. Here's Barrett deep in the left corner. Pounds it inside for Clay, faces the double down. It's poked out of bounds with 16 to shoot. Crusaders will hang on to it, baseline left. Clay off that inbound, finds Ognacevic. Back to Clay, head of the key now to Robinson, reverses it right side to Lorang. Lorang on the crossover, the little fella scoops to the bucket. That's going to be basket interference and count the bucket for Sergid Lorang. That'll be his 4th point on the afternoon. And the lead back to 7. 13 minutes to go exactly in the ball game. Valpo on top, Purdue Northwest working with the basketball. Off the give and go. Allison kicks it out. Left side for Cooper. Long range 3 is no good. Slapped out of bounds. It's going to stay with the Pride as we've got bodies all over the floor. Looks like a game of Twister going on out there.
Yeah, I tell you what, B&W crashing the glass hard. A couple guys who are a little undersized against everybody else, but lanky, and that's Zerlini and also Miscavige, and they both got in there. And it's not always about coming up with the rebound, but if you can maintain that possession, get yourself an extra 20-second shot clock, and able to do that.
Do you remember Twister, or were you too young for that?
No, I know Twister, yeah.
I'm just making sure.
I don't know how many times I've played.
You're about half my age, so I didn't know. All right, here's Allison now for Purdue Northwest. Bernard now right of the lane. to the deck, runs right over Lorang. Offensive foul and a turnover against Purdue Northwest and Anthony Bernard.
God, that's such a tough call because, I mean, AB definitely pushed off with the right arm, but you're against a guy in Sigurd Lorang who 5'9", 5'10" guy, way smaller than Barner, and he's going to get the benefit of the doubt in a call like that.
Number 2 for AB, team number 6, and turnover as well for Purdue Northwest. Bounce pass right corner to Ognosevich, the big fella with a nice little floater, and he gets it up and in. Nice soft touch by the big man. And Ognosevich gets the bucket. Lead is back to 9, coming up on the 12-minute mark. We're left in the contest.
Good feed by Robinson, who was behind Ognosevich, but it actually led Miskevich to overplay, and it created that opportunity.
Cooper outside the arc on that left wing, lobs it inside for Miskevich. Good backside help right there from Robinson. And on the tie-up, I think it's going to go to Valparaiso, but first we'll have a timeout on the floor. Willie will take it with him. 11:55 left in the ball game. Valparaiso 54, Purdue Northwest 45. This is Region College basketball here on AM 1230 WJOB and 104.7 FM.
Remember, everyone, tune in from 3 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday for the Region Rush Hour with Tony Panic and Sam Michael.
Well, Sam Michael and Tony Panic.
Well, yeah, Tony Panic, you know, we'll talk about it. Tune in, everybody.
Ironworkers Local 395, through their contractor employers, the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association, are the workers you see building Northwest Indiana. They are the craftsmen building your schools, hospitals, malls, steel mills, and manufacturing plants. They support local charities, including Tradewinds and Chasing Dreams, and they coach your kids after work and on the weekend. They live, work, and contribute to all of our local communities' economic growth. To find out more about these organizations, visit ironworkers395.com or nwicontractors.org.
11:55 left in this one. Valparaiso on top 54-45 over the Pride of Purdue Northwest here inside the Arc on the campus of Valparaiso University on a blustery night in Northwest Indiana with Sam Michael. My name is Brian Jennings. High school basketball returns to the WJOB network tomorrow evening. Kirk Middle-Smith will join yours truly on that one as the Munster Mustangs will open up their portion of the season, Sam, as they take on the Crown Point Bulldogs.
Yeah, how about that? It actually gets to play.
It's about time.
Munster missed their first 4 games, postponed or canceled a couple of those, so they're looking forward to it. They were supposed to play Hammond High earlier. That would have been a great litmus test for those teams, but Crown Point providing a tough test as well. They're 3-0 so far, and they might even say that maybe Munster provides the test for them, but should be a good one for you guys tomorrow night. And the only unfortunate part is, like we got here at the Arc, the parents about the only folks allowed into Munster High School tomorrow. And we talk a lot about the crowds just not quite being what they were, but we had some pretty decent ones last year. Chesterton went to Munster, and we had a good number of folks, but for right now that will not be the case. But it is exciting to get basketball back in every capacity that we're seeing it, especially in this state. High school is still near the top of everybody's wish list.
Well, the thing about it, too, is this puts a lot of pressure on athletic directors at the high school level, not only because of the lack of fans from a financial standpoint, but you've got to try to make it an atmosphere. And you come out here to the Arc, or you go to the Purdue Northwest game at the rec center, on the campus of Purdue Northwest, you have music, you have an environment, you have excitement and energy, and that's what the high school ADs are going to really have to start to do as we move forward here with this COVID situation.
Absolutely.
After the timeout, Pride basketball. Deep in the left corner, Allison elevates for 3. That's no good. Battle on the weak side. Who has it? We've got a loose ball foul charged against Robinson of Valparaiso.
It's a great hustle play by Caleb Zerlini there. And you talk a lot about the length of Valpo, but Zerlini has that body as well. You can just tell by looking at him that his arm and his arms and his wingspan play up even a Division I level potentially.
Cooper off the pull and pop from the right side, and he drills it.
Cooper's
Cooper
been great
with the bucket.
Yeah, he's been great in his second half. So as him and AB have been the guys trying to bring P&W back.
Dozen points now on the afternoon for Cooper. And it's a 7-point advantage and a turnover now by Valparaiso as Cooper goes to the bucket. Poked away off the block shot by Donovan Clay up ahead. Robinson leaves it for Sigurd Lorang. He'll stop and pop that short. A battle on the weak side rolls out of bounds, and it's going to stay with the Crusaders. 11-14 left in the ball game and a 7-point lead for Valparaiso.
Yeah, great play. We're just talking about Cooper comes up with the steal, but good hustle by Donovan Clay, who got back. And I think if Cooper could do it all over again, he might have taken one more dribble, would have helped him absorb some of that contact. But he was already coming down off of his jump towards the bucket, and Clay made it really easy to block his shot.
Cooper left of the bucket. Valpo basketball will do the inbound. I should say Gordon will do the inbound. On top, this is Gordon. Gordon to the deck, spin to the rim, forces it up. No good. He'll shoot a pair.
Cooper got caught that time trailing right off that second pass from the inbound. It came to Gordon, as you said. And then it was a quick little stutter step from Gordon, able to absorb that contact. That's the difference right there. Redshirt senior guy. Not that Cooper's super young. He's a junior transfer, right? But a little bit extra basketball knowledge inside the head of number 10.
Gordon, the Seton Hall transfer a couple of years back, shoots the first one. He connects. He's on the board. That's his first points of the afternoon. 55-47, 11:06 left in the ball game. And back in for Purdue Northwest is Greg Boyle.
Little hitch in the free throw stroke of Aaron Gordon. I'm a little bit surprised. Normally guards have the smooth stroke, but hesitation knocks them both down, though.
Yeah, he's got a little hitch in the giddy-up. Gordon hits them both, as mentioned. Back up to 9, the advantage for Valparaiso. Full court pressure now, full court man-to-man by the Crusaders. Purdue Northwest in the front court. Here's Allison, takes it between the circles on top. Poked away. Cooper and Clay battle for it. It's slapped out of bounds. It's going to be Valpo basketball off the turnover by Purdue Northwest. And that's been the problem here this afternoon for Purdue Northwest. That's turnover number 19 unofficially on the night.
Yeah, we've just seen the greats, the good, the pretty good, and then the not so great at all from Mikkel Cooper. Yeah, it was a really interesting possession. Almost got called for moving screen, so then he was late getting that pass deflected and turns into a turnover.
Here's Gordon, foul line right, lobs it inside for Ognosevich, who squares up on his defender. Phillips off the double down, kick out pass, head of the key. Surgood Lorang for three, no good. Miscavige with a big time board underneath for Purdue Northwest. Great rebound.
I think he got poked in the eye, too. See if that affects him at all offensively here.
There's Miscavige, left side. That's Cooper. Poked out of bounds. It'll stay with Purdue Northwest with 17 to shoot.
They had a really tough time trying to get Jairus Friels the ball, and if they get it to him, it's always a lot further away from the basket than he is comfortable. He is not a mid-range jump shooting guy. He is a traditional post player, but just not been able to get it to him inside for those close looks.
9-point lead for Valparaiso. Purdue Northwest has the basketball, clock on the roll. 10-17 left in the ball game. Here's Allison. Lob off the skip pass to the near side to Boyle. Boyle picks up the dribble. Friels on top now to Allison. Lob inside with one to shoot to Miscavige. Can't get it to drop. Second shot blocked. Gets his own miss off the miscue. And he hammers it home. Stay with it. Vince Miscavige, and he does just that, Sam. He gets the bucket. Lead back down to 7 for Valparaiso.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. It feels like Vince Miscavige always wins the 50-50 ball.
11 points. Check that. 13 points and 12 rebounds for Miscavige here on the night. And a foul underneath against Purdue Northwest. The bucket's going to count. And to the line, it'll be Surgood Lorraine. Check that. It's going to be Nick Robinson getting the bucket. He'll shoot one.
That's a 50-50 call. I think the right one from Terry Weimer off that jump stop. And Boyle just got caught underneath, or I think it was Greg Boyle. They have Cooper up there, but he's not even on the floor. And there's a lot of times you might have seen that called an offensive foul, but I think the right call from Weimer to have the and one chance.
Robinson, who connects on 80% of his free throws this season, hits it to complete the three-point opportunity. Double-figure lead once again for Valparaiso. 59-49, Valpo on top, clock moving. 9:44 left in the ball game. Purdue Northwest basketball working from left to right on your dial in the black uniforms trimmed with gold. Skip pass near side right corner to Phillips. Phillips just inside the arc, can't get it to drop. Ognosevich with the rebound. Check that, that's Krikke, but we've got a foul. We'll walk down to the other end, and it'll be a foul and free throws for Valparaiso. But first, a timeout taken by the Pride of Purdue Northwest. It'll be a full timeout. We will take it with them. 9:32 left in the ball game. It's Valparaiso 59, Purdue Northwest 49. Back after this on AM 1230 WJOB.
And Allied Craft Workers Local 4, Indiana, Kentucky, has been building careers and communities here in Indiana and throughout the state of Kentucky for more than 125 years. Whether it's installing block, brick, stone, ceramic tile, terrazzo, and refractories, or restoring the buildings we built 50 or 100 years ago, BAC Local 4 and our signatory contractor partners are the best hands in the business. For more information, contact our local chapter office in Maryville at 219-769-3655 or visit us at baclocal4.org. St. Nicholas Byzantine Catholic Church in Munster is proud to celebrate Divine Liturgy on WJOB. Join us every Sunday on WJOBnetwork.com as well as AM 1230 and 104.7 FM at 8:30 a.m. We return to in-person church with only an 8:30 liturgy. Liturgy will continue to be broadcasted as well for those who are sick or do not yet wish to return. Be safe and see you in church.
Back inside the Arc on the campus of Valparaiso University, 59-49 Valpo on top over the Purdue Northwest Pride. Tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock, and whenever he shows up, it's Shed in the Region. You're on AM 1230 WJOB, and you'll be on tomorrow afternoon at, 3 o'clock you come on?
3 o'clock. 3 to 5.
Tony Panic, 3 to 5, weekday afternoons.
We come on time.
You know, some mornings Jed's on early because I'm up getting my day going about 5:15 normally, and I'll get in the car about 5:40, and he's making coffee or, whatever he's doing. And he's on the air.
Nothing like broadcasting a microwave.
That's okay. He'll get the coffee going in the morning. That's Jed in the Region. Officially supposed to start at 6 o'clock right here on AM 1230 WJOB. After the timeout, Valpo will be with the basketball at the free throw line. It'll be Ben Cricky, the 6'9 sophomore out of Canada, 10 points and 3 rebounds per game. A 60% free throw shooter on this season. Double figures the first 2 games, had 9 double-figure games a season ago. They're going to need him to score more this year.
Yeah, that's the guy you look for, the big guy underneath. He's gotten lots of touches in this ball game, but feels like he's had a bigger impact. 6 points only for him, 5 rebounds, but he's had a lot of touches on that block. We talked about Friels not getting the ball in those spots. Ben Cricky has. And he's missed, I can't remember how many times I feel like I've said P&W fortunate here, fortunate there. And a couple of those, at least 2 or 3 of them, were Ben Cricky underneath. And from close range, you're talking 2 or 3 feet away from the rim and just rolling right off and not going down. That's the difference between a 14-point performance and 6 or 8 points where he's sitting right now.
Just after 7 o'clock, you're listening to AM 1230 WJOB and 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana. Officials over at the timeline checking out I think they're checking to make sure that the clock, nope, they're going to find the correct person on the foul. And I believe it was charged to Greg Boyle. So Cricky at the line, the southpaw, they shoot a pair. Cricky, 6'9" out of Canada. The big lefty's first one is up and good. He'll get another.
And there's 2 big things to watch. Logan Phillips has really struggled in this game, a guy who averages over 10 for P&W. But the most important thing right now is now every foul the rest of the way, 9:32 to play, means 2 shots, double bonus.
And Cricky hits them both. Lead back up to 12, 9.5 left in the ball game. Full court pressure again. Full court man by Valparaiso. Here's Allison in the front court, works on Sackey, turns the corner, wraparound pass left corner. Southpaw 3 from Phillips is no good. Volleyball around underneath and covered up by Donovan Clay of Valpo.
Yeah, he's had some pretty good looks, and that one was right there. Those are the ones he's been hitting so far this year, Phillips.
Robinson, high left, finds Sackey. Sackey looking for a teammate, goes back on top to Robinson. The big man down the lane, up off the window, no good, got hammered as he falls to the floor. And Nick Robinson will head to the line to shoot a pair as well.
That's the 10th team foul now, so it would have been 2 anyways. That was a shooting foul, but every foul, as we mentioned, for these final 9 minutes are going to be 2 shots. And, Phillips, just thinking about him, 62% from the field this year, including 4 of 6 from downtown. And kind of the law of averages getting him today.
Robinson hits the first one. Nick Robinson, 18 points on the afternoon. 2 of 3 from behind the charity stripe. Up next for Valparaiso, will be on the road on Saturday, taking on the Rockets of Toledo in another non-conference game. Robinson hits the second.
And this is where a game can get away from
right.
you. I mean, even if you're a mediocre free throw shooting team, Valparaiso getting a bunch of chances at the stripe.
Pride with the basketball. Here's Phillips, trapped in the corner. Finds Miscavige, foul line right. He'll put it to the deck. Takes it head of the key, loses the handle, but finds it, lobs it to the right elbow to Bernard. Big fellow take it to the lane. AB gets it to fall. Nice move inside right there. 13 points on the day for AB, and it's a 63-51 lead for Valpo with 8.5 remaining.
If nothing else comes out of this game, the second half performance of Barnard has been his best in a long time.
Off the high-low lob inside for Cricky is no good, and Barnard now gets the personal foul. That'll be number 3 for him. You know, and these 3 games really for Purdue Northwest, and hopefully they get more games going into that January 8th conference matchup with Michigan Tech. But the point being, these 3 non-conference games against Division I opponents really going to prepare you when you play your conference, because obviously the GLIAC is a very physical conference as Cricky hits number 1. It's a physical conference in itself, but this is still a different level at the D1 level.
Oh yeah, it gets as close as you can at D2 to being this, but it is most definitely a physical conference. You play those Grand Valley States and Ferris States, and they will have some guys out there who are D1 transfers for sure.
Cricky hits them both. 10 points on the day for him. The lead is 14. Shot no good in the lane by Purdue Northwest. Cricky had it, lost it. Friels finds it, forces it up, can't get it to go. Tap by Miscavige is no good. Fouls up his own miss, and he is fouled by Valparaiso.
That's kind of what I said earlier about Miscavige. He is a guy that seems like he's a magnet for those 50-50 balls. He just comes up with almost every single one. You're almost surprised when he doesn't. And normally, if you miss in close like that, around 4 or 5 white jerseys, you're not coming up with another offensive rebound. But Miscavige does, and he's got a chance now to get some points on the board.
13 points, 13 rebounds thus far. Make it 14 points, 65-52. Valparaiso on top. The thing that impresses me about Miscavige is his knack for rebounding.
Yes.
It's an instinct and it's timing, and Miscavige has both around the basket.
Oh, it's a key for guys who study where, you know, it's a percentage-based thing about where shots go off misses from certain spots.
Checking in is Anthony Irvin for Purdue Northwest. His first time tonight, 6'4", and a freshman out of Tempe, Arizona.
I remember that first half. He picked up 2 fouls in about a minute of play. And Coach Roberts hoping that he can provide that spark after he's hit 3 of his 4 attempts from downtown this year. Threes are a way to get back in it.
12-point lead for Valparaiso. 8 minutes left in the ballgame. Here's Sackey in the front court as Valpo breaks the pressure. The little step through finds Barrett. His floater is up and good. Connor Barrett with the bucket. Barrett approaching double figures tonight. He's got 8 on the day. 67-53 inside to Friels. He traveled with a basketball. Friels got caught in the air, no place to go. And with a 14-point advantage, we've got a media timeout. 7:46 left in this one. Valparaiso 67, Purdue Northwest 53. This is Region College Basketball here on AM 1230 WJOB and 104.7 FM.
Local 41, together with Indiana Laborers Training Center and our signatory employers, provide state-of-the-art instruction in all areas of the construction industry, from hazardous material handling and environmental remediation to road construction and highway safety. Remember to slow down in construction zones and that the Local 41 members working there are mothers, fathers, coaches, and mentors. Laborers Local 41. We build Indiana in more ways than one.
Power comes in many different forms. We depend on it everywhere we go. It's in our homes, our offices, our stores, our factories and plants. We are the experts who harness it and deliver it to you. We are the Powering America team of Northwest Indiana, the best trained, most skilled, and safest electricians in the world. The very definition of value in every job we do. For your next project, go to CertifiedElectrician.com.
7:46 left in this ball game. Valparaiso 63, Purdue Northwest, or I should say Valparaiso 67, Purdue Northwest 53. Inside Valparaiso's Athletic and Recreation Center. Last time these two clubs hooked up was, I believe, back in 2018. That was the last meeting between these two programs. That was a 97-61 victory for Valparaiso back on December 29th of 2018. Last time these two teams met here tonight. Good opportunity for both these clubs to get another game in. You know, for Valparaiso, this counts as one of their regular season games, but obviously for Purdue Northwest, this is an exhibition game. So really, it's a win-win for Purdue Northwest because obviously it doesn't necessarily count in your win-loss record. It doesn't count against you in terms of the number of games you get to play, but you get to play against a big-time opponent for the third time this year after you played Bowling Green, Ohio, and now Valparaiso.
Yeah, it's always tough when you're a team like Valpo is in this situation, or any of the other two that you just mentioned, because, what comes from these kind of games? It's big-time coaches in Power 5 schools don't like to play these kind of games. I remember a few years back, Indiana playing IPFW and losing to IPFW, and it was one of those things like, what are we doing here? If we win the game, everybody expected us to win, and if we lose, everybody says, what's going on? And that's kind of the case here with PNW. They are in a kind of free money situation where all they can do is use it as experience to get better, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, that's one of those things when the game ends, if you're the big-time school that's lost, you congratulate the opponent, and you say, we'll never see you again, so
exactly.
Don't worry. After the timeout, Valpo basketball inside Cricky. Reverse layup is up and good. Good body control right there inside by Ben Cricky. Lead back to 16. Ben Cricky now on the afternoon with the bucket. He's in double figures.
That was a great set off the timeout. Ball movement to the corner. Nice little touch inside.
Scoop shot no good in the lane by Cooper. Rebound by Daniel Sackey of Valpo. Here's Gordon on the trail. He'll pull it head of the key. Bucket! Aaron Gordon dials up long distance. Gordon with his first field goal of the afternoon. 19-point advantage. And just like that, there you said it, Sam. There's the 19-point lead.
Yeah, exactly what happens. Couple bad shots. Cooper not a great look. And Gordon the other way for three. Changes the course of the game in a hurry.
Irvin on top. Finds Miskevich between the circles. Working on Barrett. Lobs it inside for Bernard. His forced up shot in the lane is no good. Cricky with a board. Pushes it up ahead to Robinson. Robinson flies down the right side. Takes it to the cup. Loses the handle. And Bernard now with the basketballs. They let him get away with a travel right there. Mikhail Cooper. Foul line right to Friels. Back to Cooper. Right of the lane. Cooper jitterbugs his way into the corner. Gets it inside to Miskevich. Loses the handle. Battle for on the floor. Bodies rolling around. And we've got a foul against Irvin as he climbed on the back of Nick Robinson. And Robinson's going to go to the line to shoot two.
It's a tough foul for Randy.
It's a hustle foul.
Yeah, and he's had one of those games where you want to forget in a hurry. But you never know, 6:17 left, so maybe you can change that. But that's 3 fouls now, and this one was the toughest by far. The other two were warranted. This one, a loose ball on the ground, and the guy's kind of rolling all over the place, and you're diving for the ball. And, yeah, it's not a football game, so when you make contact, It is a foul. But it's a tough one because maybe you start thinking about, well, is there a travel in there? The guy's rolling all over the place, and Irvin was going to grab the ball, and all of a sudden the guy rolled over. So tough call and another tough foul for him.
Robinson with his 20th point of the night. Lead is up to 20 for Valparaiso. 6:17 left in the game. Quick substitution. Jacob Ognasevich back in for Ben Cricky. Also Sheldon Edwards re-enters for the Crusaders.
Those minutes we talked about during the break, that 11 to about 8 minutes in this ballgame of game time remaining was when the Pride should have made some headway, and they had some good offensive possessions, but just couldn't do so. Now you see what happens. Valpo's starting to pull away.
21 now for Nick Robinson. 21-point advantage as well for the Crusaders. Cooper goes down the lane. Check that. That's Boyle. His little jackknife jumper in the lane is up and good. Nice move inside right there by Boyle. He's approaching double figures. He has 9.
Great screen from Miskevich, too, to free that lane.
19-point lead as Edwards pulls the trigger out of the right corner for 3. That's no good. Miskevich with another board. Give him 15 on the day. Here's Boyle. He jitterbugs deep in the right corner. Again on top, Irvin. He'll chuck it for 3. Short. Loose ball foul going to be charged, I believe, against the Crusaders. Yep, it's going to be against Valpo.
Yeah, they got Gordon that time, and he's kind of got his hands up in the air, and he's kind of laughing because I think I know what happened. I looked at the last second, and it looked like Miskevich, really smart move. That's that hook they're talking about,
right.
The hook and hold, and I think Miskevich got away with one right there. And now we're going to see a double technical.
Yeah, they've been jawing a little bit, and they had enough. And I think Sackey will be one of the guilty parties. Yep, it is going to be. It's not even going to be a double. It's just going to be against Sackey for running his mouth as the official sort of gave him the talking too much sign to head coach Matt Loddick.
You know what? I think they got Greg Boyle, too.
Yep, they did. Boyle's going to get that tee. So as you mentioned, the double technical, that's the good officiating of Sam Michaels.
I just know when they point, when they go T and point at two guys.
That's easy, right? Sam Michael got that one. 30-second timeout taken. We're going to keep it right here. 5:42 left in the ballgame and a 19-point Valparaiso lead, as we mentioned. Up next for the Pride, it'll be a January 8th game against Michigan Tech as they open up GLIAC play. And if you get a chance, you got to get out to the Physical Education and Recreation Center, if possible. But, they're talking, and I don't know if it's going to happen that way, but they're talking about the possibility of maybe letting some more fans in. I don't think it's going to happen right away, but if it does, it'd be great to see a nice crowd come out to watch some college basketball.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And, I was talking with a guy I did the games with last year. That's Coach Gary Hayes. He had coached at P&W when it was Purdue Cal in the 90s. And
That's when I was there.
Yeah, and he always talked about the idea that, you get guys from the region because he called it their posse. You bring, all of a sudden you got 20 region folks at the game.
That's right.
And it fills up the arena. And, Boomer's got to recruit talent. But hopefully you start finding that happy medium of region guys and they're on the roster, and then you got a full gym. Easy.
After the timeout, a steal by Purdue Northwest. Here's Bernard now in the front court off the steal. He traveled with a basketball. So a turnover by Purdue Northwest, 5:37 remaining in this one, and Purdue Northwest gives it back to Valparaiso for turnover number 25 on the day.
AB playing safety spot there, stole the inbound, but then he anticipated that the off-ball defender was going to come back and come towards him, and he never did, and so he stutter-stepped.
Miskevich off the steal, stepped on the baseline, so it's going to go back to Valparaiso. 5:36 remaining, and the lead holds at 19 for the Crusaders. Robinson off the give and go, gets it back and comes to the timeline with a speed dribble. Robinson 21 on the day. That's a new career high for him. Got away with a travel, no call. Here's Sheldon Edwards. Edwards on the crossover, circle left. Hands it off to Gordon. On top, this is Sackey. Daniel Sackey with 10 to shoot. Skips it left side to Edwards. They bounce it inside for Gordon. Stolen away by Bernard. And the turnover by Valpo gives it back to Purdue Northwest. Here come the Pride on the push. Irvin left of the lane, picks up the dribble, ripped away by Daniel Sackey. Sackey scooting into the front court, bounce pass to Ognosevich, and the big fella hammers it home. Ognosevich with the dunk. He's got 6 on the day, and the lead back to 21. That's the biggest lead of the night, Sam.
Only thing that almost stopped him was Edwards. He played some defense on Sackey, but great look.
Miskevich pulls up from the elbow and connects. He's got 17 to go along with 14 rebounds on the day. Lead down to 19. Clock rolling, 4.5 left. A turnover at the timeline and a timeout taken by Miskevich. And Purdue Northwest will take the timeout. It's going to be a 30-second timeout. Check it. They're going to make it a full timeout. We will join them. 4.5 left in the ball game. Valpo 76, Purdue Northwest 57. Back after this on AM 1230 WJOB.
These have been unprecedented times for all of us.
Our patients, families, friends, and neighbors, like most around the world, have been challenged in ways we never could have imagined just a short time ago.
Our community healthcare system team has come together and risen to the occasion, leading the way in delivering care to all our patients, including those with COVID-19, doing it successfully under extraordinary circumstances.
We want to take this opportunity to share our deepest, heartfelt gratitude to our entire team for their outstanding dedication and compassion
throughout this coronavirus pandemic and every day.
We are proud to be community strong. We are proud to be community healthcare system.
Thank you.
4:35 remaining in the ball game, a 21-point lead for the Valparaiso Crusaders over the Pride of Purdue Northwest with Sam Michael. My name is Brian Jennings. Hope you've enjoyed the broadcast of college basketball region style here on AM 1230 WJOB. And after the timeout, Pride have it. So here's Purdue Northwest. Zerlini goes on top. 3 head of the key is up and good by Mikal Cooper. And Cooper brings the Pride within 16 as we approach the 4-minute mark left in the ball game.
Seeing that potential of Mikal Cooper. We still see a little out of control, but when he's under control and in rhythm, he's been great in the second half.
Nearly 4 minutes left in the game off the backdoor cut. Here's Connor Barrett with a reverse layup and a great look right there from Sir Good Lorang. At the other end, Cooper goes hard to the glass, loses it, poked out of bounds. It's going to stay with Purdue Northwest. But we'll take our final media timeout of the night. So under 4-minute break is upon us. 78-60 Valpo on top. Back after this on AM 1230 WJOB and 104.7 FM.
And Allied Crafts Workers Local 4, Indiana, Kentucky, has been building careers and communities here in Indiana and throughout the state of Kentucky for more than 125 years. Whether it's installing block, brick, stone, ceramic tile, terrazzo, and refractories, or restoring the buildings we built 50 or 100 years ago, BAC Local 4 and our signatory contractor partners are the best hands in the business. For more information, contact our local chapter office in Maryville at 219-769-3655 or visit us at baclocal4.org. St. Nicholas Byzantine Catholic Church in Munster is proud to celebrate Divine Liturgy on WJOB. Join us every Sunday on WJOBnetwork.com as well as AM 1230 and 104.7 FM at 8:30 a.m. We return to in-person church with only an 8:30 liturgy. Liturgy will continue to be broadcasted as well for those who are sick or do not yet wish to return. Be safe and see you in church.
3:56 remaining in the ball game. 78-60. Valpo on top over Purdue Northwest. If you're just tuning in, Valpo has led this one from the start. Crusaders on the afternoon shooting the basketball 28 of 48 for 58% from the floor, 5 of 17 from behind the arc for 29%, 17 of 22 for 77% from the free throw line, as opposed to Purdue Northwest, who has shot 23 of 64 for 36%, 7 of 20 for 35% from 3, 7 of 9 for 78% from the free throw line. Difference in this ball game, Sam Michael, comes down to turnovers. Purdue Northwest with 25 turnovers, and Valpo didn't take care of the basketball as well, very well. Only 19 turnovers for Valparaiso on the night.
Yeah, the 25 number is definitely something that Boomer will tell his team, I'm sure, is just, you can't do it. You're not going to win against too many teams when you turn it over 25 times, and you're definitely not going to win against a D1 team. But for Matt Loddick, he's not going to be happy either, because if they're perfect even the final 4 minutes, that'll keep them under 20, but chances are they will turn it over 20 times in a ball game against PNW, and some of that's carelessness, and you're playing a D2 opponent, and human nature tells you get careless, but if you're turning it over even 14, 15, 16 times when you get to conference play, that is going to be really tough to try and win. So that's something that you have to clean up, and part of that is who knows what's going on, teams trying to practice and everything going on with COVID, and when you can practice, all of a sudden you're off for 2 weeks, and it's just so hard.
Yeah, it's been crazy, there's no doubt. After the timeout, inside to Bernard, his little half hook in the lane is up and good. Nice move inside with the left hand. 13 points on the day for AB, and the lead is 16 for Valparaiso, who has the basketball in the front court, and a reach and foul against Purdue Northwest.
Yeah, if you get this from AB throughout the season, this is what Boomer needs from Anthony Barnard all year. And if you can get this on a regular basis, you might get the occasional 1 or 2 nights the rest of the year that you don't. But if he goes out there and performs like he has in this second half, much more under control. You could tell last year and first half of this game today, but last year all second half when he finally got back and was even kind of healthy, he was playing through some stuff for most of the year that he was just struggling to find his shot in their offense. But today, much more rhythm-based, not forcing stuff.
Sheldon Edwards at the line. He hits them both. Back up to 18, the lead. And for Edwards, the freshman, on the afternoon, he's got 4 points. 3:39 left in the ball game. Lefty three, no good from Cooper on top. High rebound battled for, volleyballed around. Who wants it? Ognasiewicz comes out of there with it. Check that. That's Barrett that comes out of there with it. And a reach and foul against Miscavige.
A little bit surprised almost that Miscavige didn't come up with that somehow. After we've talked about all the ways he comes up with those 50-50 balls, AB almost had it. And you mentioned Ognasiewicz kind of secured it, and Miscavige kept on going to pick up that foul.
At the line is Barrett. He misses number 1.
Important 3.5 minutes here for PNW to finish this game strong. There's been some good moments, but pretty up and down. I feel like Valpo's controlled outside of that last minute of the first half and the first 4 or 5 minutes of the second. So to finish strong here, they don't know when they're going to play next is important.
You're right. 19-point lead for Valparaiso. Pride basketball. Pounded inside to Miscavige. Kick out pass. This is Zerlini. He'll take it to the lane with a two-handed dunk. Great athletic move right there by Zerlini, the freshman. Cuts it down to a 17-point lead for Valparaiso, and he's got 4 points on the day.
I was wondering why I didn't shoot it, but found that answer pretty quick.
The floater in the lane by Barrett is up and good. Connor Barrett now in double figures for Valparaiso.
Great diagonal skip to Miscavige over to Zerlini to free up that lane.
The 19-point lead for Valparaiso potentially will grow as there's a foul underneath against Purdue Northwest, and we'll walk down to the other end. And free throws will be awarded to Valparaiso, and I believe it's going to be Sergud Lorang.
Yeah, that's the shooter. The foul was on Barnard. Terry Weimer came out and did a classic official mechanic where you put your two hands together and push out to say, and I think AB literally actually did what Terry Weimer did. He was right in the back of Sigurd Lorang, the sophomore. And he's a solid guy. He's undersized, but he's one of those guys you can tell there's a reason he's on this floor.
Sigurd Lorang hits the first, he gets another. Lorang with one more. The sophomore out of Norway hits them both. 85-64, 2:44 remaining. Again, there's the pressure by Valparaiso. On the push. Look inside as Cooper tries to find Bernard. That's lost. Edwards finds it for Valparaiso. Sheldon Edwards to the lane. Shot is blocked by AB. Pushed up ahead to Cooper. Cooper down the lane. Lays it up and in.
It's an underrated, great pass from Miscavige.
A threading of a needle.
Oh, outstanding.
85-66, 19-point lead. Cooper with 17 on the day as we approach the 2-minute mark left in the ball game. Lorang baseline drive. Bounce pass right corner. Long three out of the hand of Stephen Helm. The Valparaiso native can't connect. Rebound by Miscavige. Pushed up ahead. Here's AB. His fall-away J right of the lane is no good. And Edwards covers up the board for Valpo. This one's turned into a recreation game.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that was good by AB on the first part to back it out, because last year he would have ran right in and took an offensive foul, but the shot he should not have faded away.
Edwards' jumper in the lane is no good. Pride have it with 95 seconds left in the ball game. Bernard now pulls the trigger for three. He can't connect. And Miscavige gets called for the body block underneath. That'll be his third. He's had a nice night. 17 points, 16 rebounds.
Yeah, he's going to be a guy who's a difference maker a lot of nights from those close losses last year where you lose by 8-10 points and really you lost by 3 or 4, but some free throws at the end made it almost a double-digit game. And the Pride had plenty of those. But a guy like Miscavige, as we talk about the 50-50 balls, he's a guy who's always blocking out, going to grab those defensive rebounds that never turn into offensive rebounds when he's on the defensive side, but also then does the opposite and grabs offensive rebounds. So he is going to be a really important figure and a guy you got to keep on the floor, keep out of foul trouble. He'll score his points and get his stats with rebounds and stuff, but he does all those little things we talked about.
We'll set the lineup for you momentarily as Purdue Northwest has gone to their bench. Second one is up and good by Barrett, 87-66 with 1:31 remaining. Now Phillips comes to the timeline. He'll run the point for Boomer Roberts and company as Purdue Northwest has gone to their bench. They go left side to Jacob Stone. Stone, the freshman out of Midland, Michigan, averaging 5 points a game, connects for 3. And the lead is down to 18, 87-69. Nice shot right there from Stone.
Yeah, Stone's a guy who redshirted last year and is a freshman on that scoreboard and on your score sheet. But he has some experience of practicing and playing in some practices and scrimmages last year. So they'll ask him to do a little bit more than your average freshman.
Under a minute to go. Purdue Northwest basketball. Phillips to the timeline. Phillips down the lane. The left-hand little floater is no good. Fouls up his own miss. Has his pocket picked as Sheldon Edwards comes out of there with it for Valpo. Edwards takes it to the bucket. Contact, no call. High up off the rim. It's not there. Pride on the push, looking up ahead for Peter Gago, who's checked in. And it's going to roll out of bounds, and a foul going to be charged. to Purdue Northwest and Peter Gago.
That's what we're talking about on the Miscavige pass ahead. Phillips had a similar, very tough outlet to try to throw ahead for a layup, and his was just a little bit short. And what happens then is the steal, obviously, and a foul by Gago. So some opportunities to add some points if you're Valparaiso. That kind of night for Logan Phillips. You know, we talked about Sackey and how quick he is. Phillips is much lankier, a little bit taller, has that wingspan we talk about. Sackey, the true point guard, a little bit shorter, so fast. But Phillips needs to do what Sackey did, and I'm sure he will. If he can add, 10, 15, even 20 pounds of muscle, he's a guy who can all of a sudden, right now he's more of a shooter and a jump shot guy. He can all of a sudden take you on the block at 6'5", 6'6".
Stephen Helm, the Valparaiso, Indiana native, hits the second one, 89-69 with 30 seconds left in this one. As Phillips goes left of the lane and finds Gago. On top, here's Anthony Irvin. Irvin finds Stone, back in right corner. Irvin, fall-away jumper, baseline right is up and good. Anthony Irvin connects for the bucket. 89-71 with 16 seconds left.
Yeah, Irvin, good-looking jump shot. He's a guy who's going to knock some shots down from deep, mid-range jumper, and he'll be an important part of this offense. With Chandler Spring graduating last year, you're looking for guys to hit big-time shots from downtown, and he may be a candidate for that.
And that's going to do it here from the Arc on the campus of Valparaiso University. An 89-71 victory for the Crusaders over Purdue Northwest. Leading scorers in this ball game for Valparaiso. It was Nick Robinson leading all scorers with 21 points on the afternoon, 7 of 8 from the floor, 2 of 2 from the free throw. I should say 2 of 2 from behind the arc, and 5 of 6 from the free throw line. So Robinson with a new career high of 21 points. And for Purdue Northwest, they were led in scoring by Vince Miscavige, 17 points, 16 rebounds for Miscavige. So for Purdue Northwest, they'll leave here. It's an exhibition game for them, but they leave here, Sam, a much better club than when they got here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And these are the kind of games that you have a chance to look at some film and do all the stuff that coaches love to do, which is break down film and talk about how to get better. And they'll get a chance to do that instead of trying to do it in a practice against themselves, in a scrimmage, in a 5-on-5 against the black jerseys and the white jerseys at the rec center. Instead, you get to play some big-time competition, and you get to see where you stand against the best. And obviously, the Boomer knows this, and he's told me many times, we know we got to get better. We know we got to get better. And they preach that, and they're going to. This is a program that's definitely headed in the right direction. We'll start to find out, as of right now, on January 8th, just how close they are to the rest of the pack in that GLIAC. But I can tell you this much. In year number 3, that gap has been substantially closed. It's a matter of how do these guys grow and how do they learn from games like this against tough competition when it comes to actually counting towards their record.
Up next for Purdue Northwest, they'll take on Michigan Tech on January 8th. Hopefully there'll be a game for the Pride somewhere between now and then as they prepare for GLIAC conference action. And for Valparaiso, they return to action on a Saturday night on the road as they take on the Toledo Rockets. So that's going to do it here from the Arc on the campus of Valparaiso University. Final score for the final time, it was Valparaiso 89 and Purdue Northwest 71. For my partner Sam Michael, my name is Brian Jennings. Happy holidays to you and yours, and good night from Valparaiso.
Remember, everyone, tune in from 3 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday for the Region Rush Hour with Tony Panic and Sam Michael.
Well, Sam Michael and Tony Panic.
Well, yeah, Tony Panic, you know what? We'll talk about it. Tune in, everybody.
Ironworkers Local 395, through their contractor employers, the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association, are the workers you see building Northwest Indiana. They are the craftsmen building your schools, hospitals, malls, steel mills, and manufacturing plants. They support local charities, including Tradewinds and Chasing Dreams, and they coach your kids after work and on the weekend. They live, work, and contribute to all